All right, and we are live, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. What's good? What's good? Happy to have you here. KBG's here. Blackfire, what's good? Rough week, that's right. All right, what's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? It is a crazy week indeed. Oh, what's that? Mute that. Oh, let's bring this music down. Hello, hello, everyone. What's good, my zombie inside? Welcome, welcome, everyone. All right, so we got some news to cover. We got some drops. Obviously, we got some new Twitch drops. If you haven't seen yet, if you watch the stream, you can earn them. And on top of that, got that. And new profile pic pops off with the colors. Very nice. Good. Glad you like it. Yeah, we wanted to update the colors to represent the image a little bit better. That looks good. What's good, the ray gun? How's it gone? Welcome, welcome. All right. At least Bungie can say, hey, it could be worse. We could be at Xbox. Well, PlayStation, there's a trade-off there, okay? That's a good point. We'll go over that in a second. All right. All right. Let's do this. Got everything muted. All right, what's time? This is terrible. PlayStation has just announced the end of physical disc production in gaming. That's pretty crazy, huh? No more discs? Where's my disc at? Aha. No more. Okay. This will one day be in a museum. You will not own anything, and you'll be happy about it. This is a blog post that went live just today, July 1st. Physical disc production ending in January 2028. So you got a little bit of time. But if you don't know, they're already working on this. They've been doing this for a variety of different games out there. Not limited to, but definitely including GTA 6. Did you hear about this? Initially, it was announced that GTA, upon launch, will not have a physical disc in the case. Like, you're going to actually buy the case, you're going to open it up, and when you open the case up, there will just be an empty thing and a code there, right? That's all you're going to have. People then speculated that they would later release a disc, and they denied that. They said that's purely rumor. It's false. You are not going to be able to get a physical disc for GTA 6. Not an option. So I think that they were testing the waters a little bit with this one. Sony decided to, sort of ride in on the back of Grand Theft Auto 6, deciding to go this route. Long gone are the days of old. Dude, this right here, oh my God. This is like looking at a museum now, okay, filled with dinosaur fossils. This is something that, generations from now, people will talk about and will say, huh? Grandpa, you waited in line at midnight to get the new Call of Duty? Why didn't you just download it? Oh, man. This is crazy. I'm going to miss this, dude. I'm going to miss this. In 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. So obviously PlayStation, they can only speak for themselves. They can't speak for Xbox or Nintendo, which of course, I feel like Nintendo and Xbox, they're going to go the same route as well, but they might take a little bit of a slower path getting there to try and win some good favor along the way. I'm not sure. We'll see what they choose to do, right? This is an opportunity here for maybe a PR stunt, perhaps. In response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Man, that's brutal. This is from Sid, the senior director at Sony Interactive Group. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. And I know a lot of you will be thinking, is this really that big a deal? A lot of the recent games you've bought have probably been digital anyways, right? Like only us old fogies, right? Only us dinosaurs like me really enjoy that classic physical game feel like this. Dude, I go to the stores regularly, right? When I walk in, I'm like, my people need me. I go in there. I don't end up ever buying anything, but I just kind of do a nostalgia run, like a little bit of window shopping. I do 3 or 4 loops and look at the used consoles, and then I leave. So maybe I'm a part of the problem. Maybe I am a part of the problem here. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Only is crazy. The fact that you don't even get the option is actually so wild to me. This transition has no impact on games that already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. So there it is, the end of an era. This is an L move from Sony. This is a PR nightmare. And the reason why this upsets people more than anything is in part due to ownership, right? We grew up in a generation where we actually owned the media that we bought. Buying something implied ownership. Like you bought the thing, you own the thing, right? That's how it worked for games back in the day. Not anymore though. And it's slowly becoming that. We recently referenced this in such an interesting way. You can buy the original Destiny 2 disc here, right? The original Destiny 2. Beautiful. Remember that screen that was like blinding you? Like way too bright. Oh my God. That thing was crazy. You would turn on your PlayStation and you would get hit by a complete flashbang every time. It was nuts. It was beautiful though. And this had the Red War campaign on it. And then they made future updates remove the Red War campaign. So technically the disc has the campaign on it. You put the disc in the PlayStation. It does not launch unless you do the update. You click accept update and then it removes the Red War campaign. So you already lost ownership. Somewhere along the line, the lines got blurred between physical ownership and physical ownership of the game and then of the content on the game, right? They separated the two, and now you have a license. You have a license to play, and your license can be revoked at any point in time. And that's why there's this huge movement called Stop Killing Games that is fighting back against this and creating a bunch of legislation around the world to prevent this, because ownership of the media, especially video game media, is really important. So that's really the big issue here, I think. I don't know that it's like a collector's thing. I mean, it is a cultural shift, right? There are people out there that really do like collecting the physical media, but it's not necessarily the main factor. It's mostly ownership that people are getting frustrated with. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. So here's the thing, even if most of the people prefer this, I do think it's good to give the consumers a choice, even if the choice is like way more expensive. Did you ever see some of those like crazy digital, or not digital, but the crazy premium deluxe editions of games where it has like a loot crate or something? People would spend absurd amounts of money for physical media when it comes to games. I think it's good to give the consumers a choice, even if it's the unpopular choice. I think the option to have the physical disc is really nice. People use this because, one, you can take the disc, right? Like you can take your Destiny 2 disc. It's not worth anything anymore, but you could take the disc and take it back to EB Games, right? You go back to EB Games and say, give me, how much money can I get for this? And they'll say like, you can get, $2.40 for it. So it wasn't much, but the idea is you could trade the game in, right? You could trade in your games. And so they had some exchange value. And this made these stores awesome. In fact, this will probably be the death of these physical game stores, right? Like, how do EB Games continue on after this? You know what I'm saying? How does GameStop continue in a world without physical media? Like, there's only so many Funko Pops they can sell. Like the whole store is just going to be Funko Pops. It's going to be Funko Pops on the left wall, the right wall, the back wall, the middle aisle. You just rebrand the whole thing to a damn Funko Pop store at this point. Like, I see more merchandise in a game store than I do games now. It's like little plushies and random accessories and just a bunch of stupid shit in there. I used to go in these things and it was just games stacked to the ceiling. I was short too. So it was like, I'm looking up, felt like I was looking up 12 feet of games. Had to have an adult help me get the game off the top shelf. What a day. What a time to be alive, man. Kids these days will never understand. Give the consumers a choice. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games. Whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store, we remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. Man, you know what this does open up the door for, though? Some third-party, some 3D printing. Okay, maybe we start printing off these plastic cases and putting fake discs in them. So that way you can store them on your shelf, even if it doesn't actually function that way. A complete placebo effect. No one's happy about this. I understand it's probably a cost-cutting measure. I get it. Greedy corporation needs to make greedy corporation decisions, etc. Right? They're bleeding money. If you don't know, they're not selling consoles very well. They placed a bunch of big bets on games that were complete duds. Talking about you, Marathon, with your 2,000 players online last night. My God, 7,000 at its peak. It's dropping like 1,000 every day. At this rate, this game will literally have like 0 players in like a few months. It is dropping so fast. They are dropping like flies over there on Marathon, right? This is absolutely wild. Holy, there's more people in line at my local DMV than people playing Marathon right now. Oh, God. Can you imagine? Imagine the day when the low point is less than 1,000 people. Surely we have to throw in the towel at that point, right? This has burned Sony hundreds of millions of dollars, continues to burn them money, I'm sure. Like, there's no way this thing is raking in $6 million a month. That's what it needs just to break even. Like, there's just no way. So because of projects like that and Concord and even Destiny 2 to a certain extent, unfortunately, shots fired at Destiny 2, but it was more Bungie's fault, not the IP Destiny 2's fault. It was Bungie's fault for running that one into the ground. PlayStation, they're struggling a little bit, and it's a dark time. Console sales are down, and the prices are skyrocketing up. So that only means that players are going to buy less. You know, there's just no way you're going to sell consoles for well over $1,000 at this rate and in this day and age, right? In this economy, console more than $1,000. Good luck. It's a brutal time. This is a cost-cutting measure for them. The consumers hate it, though. I've seen basically everyone across the board protest this, and for good reason. Let me know what you think about it, though. How do you feel about no physical discs? Are you a dinosaur like me? And do you enjoy physical gaming media? Do you reminisce on the days of old when we had ownership? Or are you a Zoomer and you don't care? You just crank 90s in Fortnite and play Minecraft and you never even owned a physical game your whole entire life? Feel free to weigh in your thoughts and ideas down in the comment section below. At least they owned the chuds, right? Yeah, they owned the chuds. The chuds got owned. We got Nether with the tier 1 and 43 months. Let's go. Thank you, thank you. And we got King Noxid has gifted a sub. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate you, bud. Those were the good old days. That's right. Those were the good old days, man. I miss it. I miss it. A lot, I do. Sony's closing the disc factory to recover from the Bungie deal. They're closing the disc factory to make up from what Bungie did. That's brutal. People running shit now are idiots. It's in part that. It's definitely in part people being stupid. I will say, though, that there is an element, I think, of trends changing. It's not that there's less gamers. It's just there's more competition. There's more games now. There's more platforms. And we're getting into that, like, late stage where it's not just free anymore, you know? It used to be kind of free to make games and to be successful. You know, we're not going to see that so much anymore. You're going to see more... You're going to see more, you're going to see things be different. All right, let's go here. Yes, enjoy your badge for gifting a sub. Let's go. Thank you. If you gift a sub, you will earn a new channel-specific badge. And we're going to do these once a week, every week. So come by the stream, and every week we're going to have different badges. So we're going to have our own unique drops, which is pretty cool. I'm actually really looking forward to this. And we're not going to duplicate any of them. So if you ever get one, it's going to be kind of exclusive. Like, you better show up, you better watch. And we'll do gifted sub ones as well. So thank you for the gifted sub. Who did we have? We had Nether, we had King Noxid, and Pyro Demon. Thank you very much. W's in the chat. W's in the chat for these guys. Thank you for the subs, the gifted subs. All right. I can't believe that, like, I'm not even trying to be mean to Marathon, but I genuinely can't believe that the population went to 7,000. Oh! Wrestling Mayhem, what the hell? Good lord. For some reason, I can't unmute my alerts. Opera GX, the web browser, has been really shit in the bed lately.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I'd like to see you wiggle wiggle. Let's go. Sure.
We put your name on the ghost, dude. We putting your name on the ghost. Where's my marker at? How do I lose everything every day? Does anyone else just lose everything at all times? It doesn't even make sense. How do I lose everything? Ah, fuck it. We're gonna give you the golden. We're giving you the golden Sharpie. That's right. This is the new era, the post-Destiny 2 era. We're giving the golden Sharpie. That's going to Wrestling Mayhem, the first ever gold one. You're going on the 5 gifted ghost? You know what's crazy? Someone's going to come in the chat one day and they're going to say, they're going to give 5 subs and they're going to be like, what's that? What's a ghost? Damn. The day that happens, dude, I might shed a little tear. Imagine the day that someone doesn't even know what a ghost is. Crazy. All right, Wrestling Mayhem. Wrestling Mayhem. This marker's not working. Nothing works, ever. I threw that marker away. Writing your name now. Wrestling Mayhem. Thank you. That's right. Wrestling Mayhem. The only blue one on there, huh? How about that? That's the 5 gifted ghosts. So this is to honor the people that gift 5 or more. And you go back here. You can't exactly see everything necessarily, but it's back there. You know what I'm saying? It's back there. Thank you. All right, chat. All right. What a day. What a day. So that PlayStation news is big. We got a video about that. Oh, the kick one keeps doing that? God damn it. Let me turn that off real quick. Yeah, I don't know why the kick stream. I removed the kick stream from restream and added it again. Fixed the kick stream. I tried to disconnect and reconnect it, but it's good now. And we got a video in the drive. Alrighty. Xbox layoffs, my dudes. Xbox layoffs. They're big. It's an absolutely insane time right now. There's layoffs at Xbox. Not only is there layoffs at Xbox, they are about to literally Thanos snap the games industry in half, dude. Like, they're about to do the biggest layoffs we've ever seen in gaming history. Yep. It's bad. It's really bad. They're going to potentially cancel the game Blade as well. Marvel Blade, damn. Another sword game? No. Oh no, what will we do without the sword game from Sony? Darn. Good afternoon, people. What's good, Knight Rider? Hello, hello. Aren't new consoles on the way? Probably. But they gotta lay off a lot of people. Yeah. Sword games, dude. That's what we really need is more sword games. Yeah, so here's the news story right here. Here we go. Here we go. You ready for this? Lock in, chat. It's time. I'll make sure I mute these alerts so that way nothing crazy happens while I'm gone. I swear, these alerts, I clicked mute and then it, you've got to be joking me. If you click mute, it doesn't mute. And then okay, so now it's muted. All right, good. Here we go. Xbox is about to Thanos snap the games industry. The layoffs they're about to drop on us are going to eclipse the greatest layoffs we've ever seen ever. And I don't mean great in a good way. Obviously, no one wants to see this, right? We don't want to see the complete implosion of the games industry. The worst layoffs we've ever seen was about 1,900 people. Xbox is about to clear that. Somewhere above 2,000 layoffs, it's predicted. And who knows how high this could go, right? Asha Sharma she's going, it's a bloodbath, right? It's about to be brutal. Tom Warren from The Verge said this: next week's Xbox layoffs are going to be brutal. And he's quote tweeting this post, which is an insider, which is quote tweeting themselves. I know, the rabbit hole, right? Xbox layoffs are imminent. According to insiders, Microsoft is finalizing its major Xbox layoff decisions by Tuesday, which was yesterday at the time of recording this video, with cuts set to begin on Monday, July 6th. The July timing is not a coincidence. Microsoft's fiscal year closes June 30th. Yes, making a July standard window for restructuring as new budgets take effect. Microsoft did exactly this last year, cutting 9,000 jobs company-wide in July 2025. So that's completely a rumor. And I just got word of a list of Xbox studio closures, not posting them. And if it's close to true, and it's from inside, this will likely be the largest single layoff event in gaming history. The largest one ever. Dude, this is going to be brutal. This is going to be an actual bloodbath. Xbox is going to be supremely unpopular for a very long time, and the devastation is going to reverberate like the meteor that took out the dinosaurs. You know what's crazy is that I feel like Xbox and PlayStation are in a competition now to see who can piss off the gamers more, right? This news came to us yesterday, and then just today we get the news that PlayStation is removing all physical discs. You know, it's no surprise that these console companies are not selling as many consoles as they used to, right? They aren't doing themselves any favors. They are shooting themselves in both feet simultaneously. And the crazy part is you can't even point to anyone and be like, they're the best. They're doing everything right. Like maybe Steam, maybe Valve. And then you see that the new Steam machine is $1,500 and you're like, wait a minute. I don't know about that one. So it's a crazy time. A bunch of studios about to be closed. One of them that they mentioned was Blade right here. Xbox is weighing up canceling its Marvel's Blade game and shuttering Arcane. Microsoft could shut at least 5 studios as part of a big Xbox layoff starting next week. 5 studios getting shut down is insane. Do you think it will be more insane than the announcement, the inevitable announcement that Bungie is going to get shut down, right? If you don't know, Marathon is obviously, you know, this thing is beyond life support. Look at this. 2,000 and some change. Like, dear God, this thing is over and done with. And therefore, Bungie is over and done with. I imagine it's going to be 5 studios from Xbox, like 5,000 layoffs. Bungie's defunct. Like, it's just, it's insane. This is the actual apocalypse. This is the Great Gaming Depression. It has never been this bad before. It has never been more over for us. And the worst part about it is that because Destiny 2 dies at like the worst possible time, and Bungie, in all of their stupidity, didn't have any sort of like contingency plan or a way to keep the IP or the narrative alive post-mortem, You literally are left with just no future for Destiny ever. No Destiny 3, no Destiny 1 remastered. The only Destiny project that lives right now is Destiny Rising, and that thing is on life support. How do I search Destiny Rising and find the channel and not the actual category? Like, how is this possible? Yes. Yeah, that's why. So I go to find Destiny Rising on Twitch to see, who's streaming this game, who's playing this game. The answer is no one. Literally not one single person is streaming Destiny Rising worldwide. Though out of everyone in the whole world, there's like 8 billion of us. Not one single human said, you know what? I'm going to play that game today. This thing is toast. And it's even more evident how toast it is if you haven't seen the most recent season for this game, which is bare bones, completely dry, dead. The only way they make money is from the new characters, and they didn't even bring a new character. This is not going to work out, right? This thing is on life support. We're going to see the complete death of all Destiny IP very soon here. It's going to be a memory. It's going to be like something that we once talked about in the story that we once played and interacted with, unfortunately, man. And Marathon obviously is going down with it. So, it's tough, dude. It's tough. And it's only going to get worse from here. So, buckle up. The games industry is going through a rough ride right now. We're going to cover the news thoroughly, though. We're going to break down the situations because I find it interesting. I find it fun to talk about. It's all cooked, dude. It is in fact all cooked. Yes. Let me see if I can load into Destiny 2. Did they launch that final hotfix yet? What's good, Lardy? What's good, Sully the Conquistador? If you ever find any news, do me a favor, like anything interesting, definitely tag me on Twitter, or DM me on Twitter, rather. We're going to cover the craziest news. Today, the Sony one, the physical disc one, that's the biggest news story for sure. I don't think anything's going to eclipse that unless Marathon literally dies today. Like, that's about the only thing that could possibly outdo that. But I don't think Sony or PlayStation wants to take another L, right? I put a new Christopher Barrett one in Discord. Oh, is he back? Is he chirping again? What is ex-Bungie game director Christopher Barrett doing? Thank you for saying that again in the chat. Ooh, he's responding to Mesa Sean. Oh, man. Wow. This is crazy. So he's Christopher Barrett, ex-Bungie game director, talks about Rise of Iron. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Rough day, brother. I'm a big physical collector. Yo, how many games you got, Lardy? How many games you got? Yeah, I'm gonna start auctioning these things off, dude. These things are gonna be in a museum, dude. If you're a big collector, you should be kissing the fucking boots of Sony right now. I'm joking. Because these things are about to be worth so much money, dude. Cha-ching. These are collectibles now, dude. These are rare. Are you kidding me? The market for these just skyrocketed. These are going to be you can never get this. 30 years from now, They're going to be people that have these in mint condition. There's going to be some rich ass celebrity. They're doing some MTV walkthrough of their giant mansion. Like, ooh, look at my video game collection. I paid $45,000 from Lucky 10p to buy his Anthem case in mint condition or nearly mint condition because I scratched it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it is time to cash in, baby. You need to get that graded? Yes, exactly, Drews. You got to get it graded. Yes, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like Pokemon cards. It's literally going to be like Pokemon cards. This is incredible. This is beautiful. But you have to worry about disc rot. You don't have to worry about disc rot. It's going to, you don't have to play the damn thing. You're just going to keep it. Does the disc rot? You're making that up. This is made out of like plastic. We got to get it graded. Disc can rot? I don't think disc can rot. I've never heard of that before. I have 500 physical games on my shelf. I also collect controllers. That's crazy. I had a crazy physical gaming collection a long time ago. And something happened where I was just like, something snapped, and I was like, man, I just can't keep up with all of this. Like, it was so much. I had like every console and like a library of games to go with it. And I was like, nah, man, like I like sold it all, dude. I should have kept that, dude. I should have kept that. Yeah, if you have 500 discs, take a photo of that. We should have a thread on Twitter of people sharing their physical video game media because it's literally going to be in a museum one day. It's awesome. All right, let's cover this real quick. Why am I touching it without gloves? Dude, I know this is actually what game, now that I think about it, if these do become effectively Pokemon cards, what games will be the most expensive? People are going to go to the stores to start buying these up, by the way. This is big, dude. Maybe I should go to the damn game store and buy these up. We'll go live stream. And we'll go into the physical game store and yoink these one up. We need to make a list of the ones we think will be the most rare, dude. These will be incredible. They'll be completely unplayable, obviously, but they'll serve as a memory of an older time. Bungie. Words are hard, chat. Let me redo that one. You saw nothing, chat. Chat, you saw nothing.
Guardian down.
Bungie game director is clarifying his comments made on Rise of Iron. And yes, we're talking about that game director, the one that literally made the expansion. Paul Tassi posted a tweet here, which is a 2-sentence insider report on why Destiny 2 died. We read this article, and we have Mesa Sean here, which I haven't seen this guy in forever, dude. This guy, he used to pump out news stories like crazy every day, video. This guy was on top of it. And then all of a sudden, one day, he just said, fuck it, and he just left. He was just gone. You guys remember Mesa Sean? This is Mesa Sean, dude. Mesa Sean. Look at this. Returning D1 weapons 4 years ago. Huge season 15 changes. This guy was grinding on another level. This guy was pumping out videos nonstop. This guy, he had a work ethic. That's for sure. And then he just vamoosed. But now he's back. And here's what he has to say all these years later. Rise of Iron, according to Christopher Barrett, didn't do very well. Whoa, that's a pretty bold statement. Or didn't have a big player count. I forgot how exactly he worded it when I was at an event. I could understand if it didn't have the craziest player count, possibly, because it was the 3rd year of Destiny 1. There was a bunch of droughts, so maybe it didn't pull as many people as they had hoped. Although I will say there was, there was some pretty, Wrath, pretty damn good. Outbreak. I was surprised because that was one of the greatest game times I've ever had in the franchise. Christopher Barrett, I never said that. That's hilarious. I never said that. That is just not true. And then he goes back, he says, "You did, dude. I forgot how it came up, but I mentioned in the room how Rise of Iron felt so good at the time. But you said the player count or that the DLC was not well received or something to that effect. I was just surprised because that was the most fun I had had in Destiny 1. He then goes on to say, I directed Rise of Iron. Like, he's like, I made that. I don't remember ever saying anything but positive statements. It was made very quickly, under budget, and was well received. Wow, interesting. That's an interesting note there. It was made fast, so they kind of rushed it out the door a little bit, and under budget, and still well received. Very interesting. Some clarification from Christopher Barrett. Now, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of bias here. I mean, when you are the one that made the thing, right? You're going to be like, yeah, of course, it was the best. Like, everyone loved it. I made it. But looking back in the whole history of Destiny 1 expansions, Rise of Iron was pretty damn good, not gonna lie. And if this was made rushed and under budget, that's even more incredible. And Mesa Sean responds to this saying, "Oh, it wasn't negative. It was just something you mentioned in passing. I forgot exactly what it was, either low player count or something like that." So that's the end of it. He doesn't reply to that. I'm not sure what the player count was, if we're commenting on that. Apparently, Christopher Barrett's not going to, but he's been chirping more. He's been on Twitter. He's been saying some stuff, and you love to see it. I like to peek behind the curtain and see what was really going on behind Bungie closed doors and what they were strategizing and how things were actually going, especially back in the days before social media really grew into what it's become now. What do you think, though? What do you think the outcome of Rise of Iron was? Did you enjoy that expansion? Did you play during that time? Do you think it was well received by the larger gaming community? And do you think that the player count was pretty good? This was year 3 for Destiny 1. And it was the precursor to the launch of Destiny 2. Literally one of the best expansions for Destiny. Yeah, a lot of people will say that and feel that way. And I'm not going to disagree with you. I thought it was great. There was something, I wasn't as active during that exact period of time. And we were mostly just super deep in trials. So we unfortunately didn't enjoy it for what it was as much as we could have. Xbox. Oh, let's see here. What was that video I did? Physical disc production. That one. Didn't play at that time, but I played what I could this year. It's pretty good. Yeah. Wait, there was an exotic hunter cloak in D1? I do not remember there being an exotic hunter cloak in D1. Remember Tapir? I do remember Tapir. I got the exotic hunter cloak? There was? Really? Dead orbit stuff? 3 of each? They had many exotic class items? Really? Oh, damn. Okay. I think my brain overwrote dual destiny exotic class items over that. The faction one's interesting. Interesting. Wow. 12 in total. Wow. That does ring a bell now that I think about it. Because before that, we had only ever worn an exotic arm piece, and then we got to wear that. But it wasn't like the same thing. It wasn't like it wasn't doing like giving you like some crazy perks, if I remember correctly. Yeah. It wasn't like as powerful though, right? Very interesting. The exotic armor allowed you to get more rep from the different factions. Yeah, that's what it was. It was something like it wasn't. That's what I said. I swear I could remember it, or it just wasn't as big a deal or something. I watched CB Gray grind them on that stream. Nice. Have a disc off? Was it? What are you gonna do with the disc off, huh, Holland? I think this is. It's like it's bad news to end discs, but it's kind of good news for collectors, right? It's. We were just talking about that earlier. Is that not kind of like? Yeah, I'm saying you might have a collection that's gonna be worth some money now. Imagine you got a physical disc of Concord, right? God damn. That's a gem. Only like 500 people in the world got one of them. If even. Did Concord sell physical discs? Did Concord sell physical discs of their game? They did. No way, dude. That is actually goated. Imagine if you sell a Concord physical disc in mint condition. What is that? They call it like a PSA or whatever, like where it's like they have it rated. Mint condition Concord physical disc. It sells for more than the cost of the game. Like 50 years from now, when like some rich collector sells for $400 million. Concord finally makes a profit. That would go for $1 million, dude. That's like the holy grail. The Concord physical disc is like the actual holy grail. We need to find one of those quickly. Can I find that on eBay? I will actually buy this right now, dude, if I can. Holy shit, dude. We are going to cash in. It's a long-term investment, okay? Oh, yo. Unavailable. No. God. Unfortunate. This is the long-term investment, dude. We need to go to the video game stores and get some collect something. eBay, my good sir, you think eBay's got it? eBay is kind of like the black market. They should just call the eBay black market. I feel like eBay, they just do like all kinds of illegal stuff on here, you know? Like you'll just be browsing eBay and someone's like selling my kidney. And like, I don't think you can do that. Legally, sir. How did you... What? What's good, Shane? How's it going? Yo. It's on eBay. We got this blurry image that you know it's real because this guy took a photo of it with his phone. Damn, he got a bunch of... Look, he bought like 5 of them. He's showing the physical disc. What the heck? Should we buy one of these? I think you buy one of these, chat. I think you buy one of these. This is going to be in a museum one day. This is going to be worth money one day. I think I buy one of these. $300? Are you insane? Who would buy this? $115? Sold, dude. It's still reasonably priced. I'll buy 3 of them and I'll give them away on stream. Concord giveaway happening on stream. You better believe it. A 2-year protection? 2-year protection plan? Just in case my disc melts? I'm telling you, eBay is just a scam site. eBay is literally just a scam site. This doesn't make any sense. How is Allstate going to protect my Concord game? Like, what? This doesn't make any sense. I am buying this. I'm not creating an account. No, I'm going to continue as a guest instead. I am buying this. Chat, you can judge me if you want, but I am buying this. I don't even care anymore. People are selling the duplicate mod guns. I think this is a good investment. I think this is a worthy investment. Do it, do it, do it, do it. That's what I'm saying. I think this is like actually worth something one day. I'm going to be 80 years old. Everyone's going to laugh now, but when I'm 80 years old, who will be laughing then? Remember that. Who will be laughing then? Did you see the Aeternum statement about physical media? What is that? No, what is that? I'll put my grandkids through college with this Concord disc. Yes. I just paid $20. It's being mailed to me. Oh, I gotta take a photo of it so I can keep track of it with the eBay app. 1 second. Let me take a photo. Beep, boop. Photo. Oh, to scan it on my phone? What a day, what a time to be alive. And then it makes me download the eBay app. I did pay for one. I paid $20. I did. It's like a Bitcoin early investment. That's what I'm saying. This like, you guys laugh now. You guys laugh now, but you know what I'm saying? I'll be laughing to the motherfucking bank one day. When I'm 80 years old, I'm cashing this bad boy in, I'll be laughing to the bank. I will have the last laugh on this one. All right, I got to take a photo of this so I have like verification of my confirmation number or something. Because I didn't make an account. I don't want to have an eBay account. I feel like eBay, they'd be trying to sell you some crazy shit. Dude, this is what happens when you make an eBay account. This is what happens when you make an eBay account. They start trying to sell me stuff like this. What does any of this have to do with Spider-Man? Bro put in a prompt, make a AI-generated blonde Spider Girl. What? Like, bro's trying to sell Spider-Man. Bro has elite marketing tactics, dude. Like, he's like, oh, you know what? Selling this Spider-Man disc like this, it's not going to work. I got the strat. We're get the AI in here. No. This is why we don't make an eBay account. The Gooner sale tactic, dude. Honestly, the Gooner sale. I bought one. I actually bought one, by the way. I'm not joking. That Concord game is arriving. It's plastic wrapped and everything. I don't know how long it's going to take to get here, but I bought it. Let's see what the AI has to say about this. With Sony announcing the end of physical media, do you think that like old games will be collectibles like Pokemon cards or something?
They might become more collectible for certain people, yes, especially rare or beloved titles. But it probably won't mirror the scale of something like Pokemon cards. The reason is that not every physical game will be scarce or in high demand. Pokemon cards have an inherent randomness and rarity system, plus a huge cultural phenomenon behind them. For games,
Yeah, that's why I bought Concord, a game that literally sold like 100 copies. So basically no one has it. So I have scarcity. That's what I'm talking about.
I get what you're going for. Having a super rare piece of gaming history can definitely feel exciting. Just keep in mind that value in collectibles comes from both scarcity and demand. So if the story of Concord gains a cult following, you might just have a quirky gem on your hands. Either way,
Oh, it's got a cult-like following, but not for any good reason. All right, it's got all the negativity. The worst game ever made.
well, having a notorious legend can still be a conversation starter. Sometimes those infamous titles become curiosities just because of their reputation.
Yeah.
Whether it's
I think what I'm
valuable
going to
or
do is invest all of my reserve income into buying these collectible games in one day that I'll be able to cash them out. What do you think?
I'd be careful with that approach. Collectibles are notoriously unpredictable. What seems rare today might not hold long-term demand.
Too late. I already spent my income and I took out a credit line and maxed it out.
That sounds like a big leap, and I really hope you're kidding. If not, I'd urge you to take a step back.
No, I have an absolutely vicious gambling addiction and it cannot be stopped under any circumstances. In fact, as we're talking, I took out another line of credit and maxed it out to buy even more old video games.
I'm really sorry to hear that. If you're feeling like things are out of control, it might be a good time to talk to a financial counselor or someone who can help. You don't have to.
All right, let's move on now. Another line of credit. That's what I'm saying, dude. We're going all in. Video games, physical media, it's rare now. Very rare. It's good lucky potato. AI's taking over, dude. It can kind of sense my humor, though. You know, that's the part that always makes me weird is how does it sense the humor? It's getting too smart. That's all I'm saying. It's getting too smart. Let's see what Paul Tassi has to say over here. Sony has just announced that they are killing physical discs in gaming. This will begin in 2028, and everyone's revolting, right? You used to own your games. Now you lease them. Paul Tassi is weighing in on the topic here with PlayStation kills discs. Sony killed Destiny 2. Now it's killing physical game discs. Oh, no. The SEO optimization. You love to see it.
All right, I am back with another, not Destiny video, actually. We are staying with Sony, but we are moving on to something different and shitty that Sony has done. Sony announced today that it would be getting rid of selling new discs in the future. Moving to a full digital ecosystem, at least for new titles released. This is starting in 2028, like January 1st, 2028, so about a year and a half from now. And that has pissed off a lot of people and raised a lot of questions about what's coming. And
this comes to us off the tail end of obviously GTA deciding to go down this route. There's no more physical discs for GTA 6. They're just going to give you a code. You can buy the piece of plastic, I guess, if you want, but it's just a digital game. So it's been leading this way for a while now. A few different games companies have been advocating for this, but it's been receiving a lot of pushback, and people are definitely revolting against this one. I wonder if Nintendo or Xbox will take a different stance to try to be the cool guy in the situation, right? I feel like Xbox, they could use any positivity going for them right now. They're about to lay off thousands of people, and their console sales are terrible. So maybe they'll go that route. We'll see.
And it gets a little murky when we fully, jump into this. But I think
Someone said no physical discs for Marathon either. Really? There were no physical discs for Marathon? That's crazy. I bet like all 12 people that bought that game were really upset about that.
there's a lot to talk about. I will start with the relatively short post they made here, at least part of it. This is what they wrote on the blog. As consumer preferences and broader entertainment industry and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical disc to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Retailers. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain
He's laughing at retailers. I mean, when's the last time you went to a GameStop, right? Every now and again, I go through a mall. You ever go through a mall recently? It's a complete ghost town in there. You'll see like a tumbleweed going through there. There will be sections where there will be 5 or 10 consecutive closed buildings. And then somehow in the far back corner, next to a crusty vending machine, there will be a GameStop. And you'll walk in there and there'll be some guy working. His name is always Jared. I don't know why. I think they just exclusively hire Jareds. And he has a long beard and he's just sitting there behind the desk, not doing anything. Like he's like an actual NPC. And you walk around, you kind of look at some stuff. You look at the 10,000, merch items they have, right? The Funko Pops they have. And then you walk out. That's the extent of GameStop. Back in my day, though, when I was a kid, GameStop was where it was at, dude. I would go to the mall. It was popping. Crazy food court, tons of chatter. Everyone was at the mall. And GameStop it was a little tiny section, but it was filled with like 30 people somehow. It was crammed in there. Selling GameCubes. Those were the good old days. You remember the GameCube? Damn.
Committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. Oh, okay, well, that was the whole thing. So this is starting from the place of the fact that 80 to 85% of games on I think PlayStation specifically, it's around that for the larger industry, at least in terms of, I think, across Xbox and PlayStation, 80-85% are bought on digital. That is obviously still 15 to 20% that are physical. And
which I agree is the statistics show that people are clearly buying more digital, right? Your kids and your grandkids, they're playing Fortnite and Minecraft, and they didn't go down to the store and buy a physical copy of these games, right? They just downloaded them on their console, their Nintendo Switch, or their PC perhaps, their iPads, whatever it may be. So the trends are changing, but there still is a market, and the consumers definitely want physical products, at least to some degree. So it sucks that at least that very small portion, which basically is just the dinosaurs, right? It's us, the geriatric gamers. We want physical media, not just because we like to collect, but because we like ownership. Sucks that we're losing it.
Is why we still have physical and digital versions of consoles. It stands to reason that based on what we're seeing here, that the PS6, which is allegedly going to come out in 2028, we will see based on world events here, we'll probably have a purely digital version and that's it. And if we're lucky, maybe a separate disk drive you can buy for what I'm sure is going to be a significant amount of money.
You buy your digital only PlayStation, you buy your separate game controller, your separate disk drive you have to attach to it. I can only imagine the price of that. $1,500.
That said, this idea that they are adapting to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media outpaces physical discs. The point is you still had a choice. So yes, it is moving in that direction, but you're just taking away an option. And you're also in a situation where, in this age where no one feels like they really own anything, you are taking that kind of security away from the people who are in that camp, or you're also working against game preservation, which heavily relies on physical media. The compounding factor here, though, is like what has happened with discs over time, where a lot of the time, if not most of the time, the disc sort of serves as just a medium for install onto a console. So
this is true. We talked about this with like the PlayStation disc for Destiny 2, the Red War campaign. It's on there, but you can't play it. Kudo typed in the chat. They said the PS6 will undoubtedly have the lowest sales. That's for sure. Especially the way the trends are going right now. That's absolutely true. The PlayStation 6, I don't know what they could even do to make it more appealing. I feel like I'm going to see the PlayStation 6 and be like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to keep my PS5. I don't even have the PS5 Pro right now. The only reason why I would maybe even consider getting that, I mean, it's so much money, so probably not. But if it like played GTA 6 at like 60 FPS, but the normal PlayStation only did like 30 FPS, going back to 30 FPS can hurt my eyes a little bit, even my old man eyes. So for that reason alone, I might consider it. But what selling point do they even give you to buy a PS6, right? Like, how do they push the boundaries for that? It's going to be a pretty interesting crossroad. Like, I feel like the only thing they get out of it is just the exclusives, right? That's what they're trying to sell you on, is the exclusives, and they're regressing back to the exclusives. They're taking their IPs that were cross-play and cross-platform, and they're turning them back into exclusives in hopes that you might get bamboozled and buy a PlayStation 6. And the part that's interesting is that the consumer trends show that people are informing themselves more and more about these topics. So I don't think people are going to buy it. I don't think people are going to fall for it. I don't think people are going to spend $1,500 just so they can play Gears of War. Like, I don't think it's going to land very well.
You need a download anyway, half the time, and you also need online access half the time. But it's still something that you can hold in your hand, though we are already seeing, even before this, games moving away from this. As we've discussed before, GTA 6 is just a code in a box. There is a box you can put on a shelf, but there is no disc. There is just a code that is for a digital download. And when they talks about buying your games at retailers, that's all it's going to be. I mean, it's other than maybe a special edition or something that comes with physical objects, it's going to be a code in a box. There will be no discs because they're not doing discs anymore. This raises a lot of different questions on the retailer side. GameStop, I imagine, is not terribly pleased about this. Obviously, as digital downloads have increased, that is obviously cut into GameStop's resale market, but just eliminating it entirely for PlayStation is certainly, I don't want to say a death blow, because that company is a cockroach that has survived several apocalypses at this point that should have killed it. But it is certainly bad news for them, as it will, over time, there's, all the current games are still going to be able to be bought and resold, but new games in the future, which is a significant part of the resale market, because you beat a game, turn it in, buy a new game, will be gone because you can't, do that with digital games.
Yeah.
This has long been something that console makers are trying to do.
We need to see what GameStop's official response is going to be on Twitter. Can you imagine? They are going to be like, boys, it is so over for us.
Because they don't want a resale market because it reduces the value of their games. If you can just buy it at GameStop for $40 instead of $70 and they get nothing from that, they do not get a second sale. This is also to reduce costs in terms of you no longer have to pay for production or shipping or any of this stuff. It is all just digital downloads. And of course, that is not going to be savings that is passed off to consumers. Game prices will stay the same. Game prices will probably increase in a couple more years, if not sooner. So again,
if you have stock in GameStop, sell immediately. If you haven't already, sell immediately, please. It will be worth nothing by the end of the day. It's going to be so bad for them, and it sucks. Back in my day, we used to wait in line for midnight releases. Anyone wait in line for a midnight release? Anyone? I waited in line for, what was it? Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, and trying to think, were there any others? I don't remember. I at least did those two, though. I was all about it, dude. We were deep in Call of Duty. That's going to be, dude, we're going to talk about that, and people years from now are going to be like, you did what? You went to the mall? What is that? And you went to a GameStop? Huh? It's like Steam, the GameStop, it's like Steam, but it's a physical Steam. Explaining to people what a GameStop is.
Something that only benefits Sony. Maybe they can make additional money selling separate disk drives as well. So that's another thing. This raises questions about backward compatibility, given that if you want to play these old games that are on discs and you have a digital only next gen system, you will have to buy something extra, if that thing even exists, to have backwards compatibility. So even the discs you already have are going to be hamstrung by this decision and just make your unit cost even more. And I think the add-ons have been like $50 usually. I would be amazed if the PS6 came around and they were still selling a disc drive for $50. We are also in a memory crisis where memory costs a metric shit ton and is why prices keep going up on everything. Well, that and RAM and other components, but storage is a big thing. We just saw Xbox cut its 2 terabyte Xbox Series X entirely because it had gotten up to $800. And with the recent price increases, it stood to reason that that was probably going to hit $1,000 given how much
Xbox doesn't want to market a $1,000 console on their website. They don't want that price tag to be associated with them. The reason why Steam was okay with it is because Steam isn't selling the consoles or their PCs, I guess technically we'd call it, at a loss. So Steam is okay with it, and they kind of got screwed by the RAM shortage and other components. So theirs is like 1,100 or 1,500 options. But the console companies, they want to be the cheaper option, right? They want to be the more accessible option. So they intentionally undersell. I feel like, though, if Steam really wanted to make waves, right? If they really wanted to crush the console community, could you imagine if the Steam machine sold for less than consoles? Like Xbox and PlayStation, like they're going to be like $900, right? They're going to make them 900, maybe 950. They're going to make them intentionally close to that 1,000 mark, but they're not going to cross that threshold until they absolutely have to. That seems to be their strategy. Imagine if the Steam machine came in and just undersold all of them at like $800. They would be operating at such a loss, though, that it probably wouldn't work out for them. But dear God, that would be we would see a massive PC revolution. Okay, everyone would be a PC gamer all of a sudden. I would love to see that, though. It would be nice if we all played on the same platform. Look, I'll say this. Have you ever had a weird experience where you tried to play with your friends and then they just like, oh, I guess just we're not friends anymore? You know, I met a bunch of people playing Destiny 2, right? And I'm like, oh, let's do these raids together. Let's do contest raids. Let's do trials, right? We became good friends. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go back and play D1. You guys want to go back? Like, we're kind of bored with Destiny 2. And they're like, sure, add me. My Xbox gamer tag is what? Your what gamer tag? I'm a PlayStation guy. And like, oh yeah, when I played D1, I played on Xbox. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Dwayne, my best friend in Destiny 2, the person that I do every activity with, he's an Xbox guy in D1, and I'm a PlayStation guy in D1. We literally can't play together, right? We're barred from ever playing D1 together, ever, because of the platform. How crazy is that? We need to all get on the same platform. That's the point. So that way we're not locked away, right? I mean, crossplay is also a good solution, but just in case crossplay is not an option, everyone needs to be on the same platform somehow, because it sucks when you can't play with your friends. It was a weird thing finding out my raid group, like, oh, half of them were Xbox and half of them were PlayStation, so we just couldn't play together when we went back to D1.
Storage costs have increased, which is like by 2x and probably another 2x in the future, and then like 5x from a couple years ago. It's escalating to the point of absurdity. But on the player side, making all games digital downloads, especially if you're not, at this point we should be at like 5 terabyte hard drives or something like, we should really be past where we are. But if they're staying the same size and game size keeps getting larger and larger, like how many games do you have installed on your console at any given time? I guess it depends what they are. But if you have, major AAA games installed, we're talking 100, 150, 200 gigabyte games. And at any given time, I probably only have 4 or 5 games installed on my console. Like there is a very limit, because you can't even, they preserve 30, 20% or whatever for system stuff. So it's already in poor shape. And like, you can bet we're not going to get 2 terabyte.
Someone said, yeah, the standard should be 5 terabyte, says Sully, and Felony says 4 terabyte. Yeah, 4 games. Oh my God, 4 games total. Yeah, because the hard drives are just so small. My PC has a 1 terabyte hard drive, and still we run out of space every now and again. Got to just uninstall a game. It's going to be really sad the day you have to uninstall Destiny 2 to make space for another game. Dude, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. The day I have to click uninstall on Destiny 2, that's going to be like crippling depression, dude. I'm going to have to I'll have to take a break, just go lay down for a bit before I can click uninstall on Destiny 2.
Standard model for whatever comes next. So, this isn't exactly a time where like, oh, adoption of digital is, just the perfect thing, because even if that has become more convenient, we're still not in like a good place for that. And cloud gaming and such is not in a place that, offsets that or replaces that or anything like that. This is obviously a PlayStation issue. This is what's being announced by PlayStation today. It is almost certain that Xbox will do the same thing. Famously, all those years ago, we had the Xbox One, where it was like trying to make discs just licenses, and like they were messing around with used games and game sharing, and like making discs like super hard to have and use and share, to the point where I think they were just hurting everyone toward digital. That was 13 years ago, and they were ahead of their time. But now that Sony has gone first, the Xbox Helix, which is desperate to cut costs very clearly, and already an Xbox PC hybrid, whereas 99% of PC games are digital now, I don't see any way that would have a disk drive outside of an external sale. So while this is like a thing we're mad about Sony, with, it's probably going to happen with Xbox too, and
it absolutely will happen with Xbox as well. They're trying to do all cost-cutting measures they possibly can, including laying off like a few thousand employees by next week. So the idea of removing the physical discs is definitely going to happen. A lot of this, not all of this, but a lot of this lies on the shoulders of some of these games tanking, right? Looking at you, Marathon. Looking at you, Concord. You guys burned hundreds of millions, and now we don't get to have physical discs. All right, that's on you a little bit at least. And yeah, the Xbox will follow suit. They're definitely wanting to save money. I think if I had to guess, their PR strategy is they could probably do it digitally only, but just not say anything, because then people kind of look at PlayStation and blame them. and kind of adverts the focus and adverts the frustrations, perhaps. So I feel like that's probably the strat if I was Asha Sharma right now. It's like, let's not, catch any more heat at a time when we're about to literally, you know, lay off thousands and thousands. The biggest layoff in games history is about to happen next week. So they'll probably avoid that one. They'll let, you know what, we'll let PlayStation catch a stray today, and we'll just focus on making games right now. And of course, it's going to be digital only, which sucks. This could create opportunity though, right? I actually went online on eBay a little bit ago and I bought a hard copy of Concord. All I'm saying is scarcity. There's not that many copies of this. Okay, I got a copy of this bad boy. This is going to be in a museum one day. I'm going to sell this. This is going to put my kid through college selling this and Concord. I'm saying collectibles is about to be super rare right now. These things might be worth something one day, depending on how, how many copies there were. Do they have like a serial number on them, like a digital number? Could you imagine if they had an exact number on them? Could be even more rare.
It's just another one of those things where it's like, this is the way things are now, and you can't really do anything about it. And you're just getting less options as a consumer. People are worried about, this idea of all games being digital. Sony just deleted a ton of movies that were sold on its digital store because of licensing issues. Like, they're just gone. So if you bought them there, you don't have them. And people are concerned that this could happen with games. We have not seen like the mass deletion of games specifically. Like, if that happens, it's like things moving on and off.
That was a really crazy story. We were going to do a whole video about this. Sony deleted like 500 movies from the PlayStation library. And if you had the license to watch them, you were able to watch them because you paid money for it. But now you can't. It's like, oh, actually, nope, you don't. You don't get to see your movie. You don't get to see the piece of media that you paid money for. Licensing is kind of crazy in the digital age. Not going to lie. I feel like I see it when I go on YouTube. You can go on YouTube right now and there's like a whole selection of movies and it gives you the option to like rent the movie. And then it's like standard definition, $4, HD, $5. And then it gives you the option to like buy the movie. And then you like buy, and then you have like ownership of it forever. That's forever until they decide to remove ownership and then not pay you the money back, I guess. But I feel a little bit more safe, a little bit more secure in a platform like YouTube because they basically just have infinite money, I think. Am I wrong in believing that? Surely that means that my movies are safe, right? That's why it's important to have the physical media though, okay? If I had the movie itself, right? Like if I had the physical disc of Star Wars, right? You can't take that away from me. Sony, PlayStation, YouTube.
Game Pass that you don't technically own. But I mean, it's only bad news for consumers and it's pretty much only good news for companies. But then, it's typical corporate bullshit to be like acting like this is a win-win for all of us. And like, this is just the logical thing to happen. And it was going to happen eventually. I mean, it was impossible to look at the market and the industry and not see this coming. It seemed like maybe we could push it another generation, but I'm not like the most surprised this happened. It's still shitty and I get why people are upset about it. Like I exclusively buy digital games, but I can still understand why the lack of choice is a problem. And, especially given that we're all being squeezed already in all this stuff and all this is doing is, increasing margins for these, console manufacturers in a way that is not remotely passed down to the consumer. So it does nothing for us. Yeah, so that's the big Sony news of today. We are, after its Destiny shut down and such, we're gotta find a new bad news story ahead of what is absolutely going to be a bad Xbox news story as that studio as Xbox prepares to close a bunch of studios and lay a ton of people off in an effort to turn the Xbox ship around by slimming down, but you think people are pissed today about discs. Whew, what's coming, I'm sure, is going to be crazy. We'll cover that when it happens. Also, I'm Sony's probably going to close some things someday too. It's just, and obviously we got through hundreds of layoffs at Bungie, but the Xbox thing is going to be big. So yeah, this is shitty. This is par for the course with the industry these days, which is mostly shitty things that are shitty for consumers. And, you know, I will say on the console manufacturer side, like they are getting just hosed by these price increases to the point where it's like either you lose hundreds of dollars on a console or you price it so ridiculously no one buys it.
Yeah.
With Microsoft specifically, you could be like, you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're one of those super AI invested companies, but like it's a mess. So they're trying to find, you know, quote unquote wins for themselves when they can. But if this component thing doesn't reverse itself, like gaming is going to be extremely unaffordable for many people heading into the next generation, whether we're talking about disc stuff or not. So,
all right, there it is. That is Paul Tassi on Sony killed Destiny 2. Now it's killing physical game discs. I think it's a pretty accurate breakdown of the situation. Someone said, why couldn't they ship little thumb drives solely? I guess they could still ship physical media if they wanted to. They're obviously going to sell physical media, right? Like it makes sense to sell things on like a merch store or merchandise, right? Some companies make so much money on their merchandising. I feel like Disney has to make just like crazy amounts of money on the merchandising. You go to Disney or to the theme parks or look online, it's like they got shirts, they got the hats, the little ears, they got wands, bubble wands, they got backpacks, sweatshirts, everything, you know? So some of these companies are pretty locked in on the merchandise, and I'm sure there'll still be merchandise for things like GTA 6. Not like they're not trying to sell merchandise by any means, but clearly the big cash cow is the game itself, right? Like that's where the money is made, and that's what they want to do to save money from having to, you know, physically produce the discs and put them on the disc just to put it in your game console, and then it basically functions like a digital game anyways, right? Like we said, with the Red War is on the disc, but you can't play the Red War. So it's like we're kind of crossing an interesting roads there. Someone said iTunes stole my music. Is that true? Did they really steal music? There's no way. That's why I used LimeWire back in the day, dude. They'll never catch me. Crazy times, though. Crazy times. The next big news stories on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed, are Xbox layoffs are happening. That one's coming down the pipeline. That's going to be brutal. The console sales numbers are pretty bad. We're talking about that. Bungie is probably going to lose Marathon pretty soon here. I don't know how much longer that's going to go on for, but I can't see it happening. I would find it to be wild if Marathon was still playable by Christmas. That would be absurd to me if there was still live updates by Christmas. That would be, honestly, that would just be burning so much money. There's just no way. They probably have a contingency plan. They're probably trying their best to, you know, mitigate the issues or build an audience. But with all of this other stuff going on, it's a really bad time to have a failing project right now. You know, now is the time for game companies and game studios to consolidate and make the most conservative approach possible. It isn't time to, you know, start just at literally lighting money on fire for Marathon. It costs $6 million a month estimated just to keep the lights on at Bungie to make Marathon. And they ain't making that money back, right? I don't know how much they're making a month, but they ain't making $6 million. That's for sure. So pretty crazy time. These news stories are all going to drop over the next few weeks or months, and we'll keep you updated as we get them. So make sure you subscribe. See you later. All right. Good stuff, chat. Good stuff. Mark. All right, new story coming in just a moment, chat. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, beautiful people. What is good? Hey, remember when they had consoles come out at a certain game, and when you bought it, it was actually worth the $120 price mark? Rough. It's crazy all these years later, we kind of are able to decipher the strategies that these guys use, right? Like these companies are trying to intentionally do exclusive games on their platform just to sell consoles. It's weird because I feel like it's hard to describe it. It doesn't feel like it's very strategically smart. I get that they needed to do it initially back in the day, but it's kind of a weird thing, right? It's a very weird position to be in. Competition is good though, because competition tends to drive the prices down, right? Like if there was only one console company, if they wanted to be like the world's greediest assholes, they could charge, $5,000 for a damn console or something, right? So the competition is good because it is making the prices more affordable for consumers in the existing market, but you can't help but feel like it sucks that these companies keep trying to sell games so that they can sell more consoles, and then you have to buy an Xbox, and you have to have an Xbox Game Pass, and you have to have an Xbox controller, and you have to buy a PlayStation and a PlayStation Plus fucking game, whatever the hell that's called, PlayStation Plus, and then a PlayStation controller, and then I have to buy a PC, and then I have to have a mouse and keyboard to play on PC, and then a monitor, and a desk, and a chair, and a Nintendo Switch. Like, damn it. Being a gamer is way too expensive. You basically have to be a bougie, rich person to be a gamer. Back in my day, being a gamer was like the cheap person's hobby. Being a gamer when I was a kid, bro, it was cheap as hell. You would buy a console for like $100, and you could buy like used games for like nothing. You could get the demo discs. Yeah, someone said in chat, the demo discs. I would get demo discs, and I would just play all the different demos. Sometimes I didn't even have the real game. Times have changed, man. Competition fuels innovation. That's true. That is true. Competition fuels innovation. I asked you guys who went to the midnight release before, and someone said they went to Gears of War. Yeah, that's awesome. Who went to, this dude. All stock must go. These guys are going to be cooked. Did they say anything on Twitter yet? Let's see what they said. GameStop is going to be so mad right now. We should go look at their stock. Their stock prices have to be just like... Someone said... This is crazy. They are spawn camping GameStop right here. This is hilarious. Look at this. You can just sit outside of the GameStop and wait for people to bring buckets of video games and buy them before they take them in the store. Hashtag spawn camping. Just standing out in the front of a GameStop. You just walk up to the guy and just buy his stuff from him. That's so funny. GameStop themselves said, how will we ever recover from this? That's so good. What do we got here? A GameStop customer in Columbus, Ohio traded his old Xbox 360 collection for over $1,000 in store credit. Left with the new PS5 games and very happy. Nah, this should be a crime right here. A GameStop customer in Columbus, Ohio traded his old Xbox 360 collection for $1,000 in store credit. Dog, he traded in that many games. Look at how many stacks there are. You gave him $1,000. Dude, he should have kept this. He should have kept this. Oh man. This is going to be worth more in the future. Now that these games are going away, the physical media is going away. These are going to be in a museum. $1,000 for that many games? How much money do you think he spent on them? Let's look at one stack here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 games. What's the calculator at right now? How many stacks we got here? 1, 2. It looks like it's 3 rows deep here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If that's 3 rows deep, that could be like 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be potentially, I'm going to say 11 stacks. I'm going to say 12 stacks total. So it was like 27 times 12. 324 games. And how much is that? 65 a piece? $21,000? He looks concerned. That's the look of a man when they tell you you trade in your life's savings, your life's work of video game collection, and GameStop looks at you and says, yeah, that'll be $1,000. You're like, bruh, I spent my life collecting this. You know what's crazy? AI is getting so powerful. I bet I could just like ask AI to estimate this.
I'm glad to hear that. Still, if you ever have any serious concerns, financial or otherwise.
What the hell? You quit yapping.
Got it. I'll keep it concise. Whenever you need me to jump in, or if you have a question, just let me know.
This guy right here traded in all of these games to GameStop and they gave him $1,000. I want you to give me an estimation of how much he spent on that entire collection based on that image I just sent you.
It's hard to be exact from an image, but let's say each game was originally around $50 to $60 at release. If you've got well over 100 cases there, maybe even a couple hundred, then that could represent several $1,000s originally spent.
Now use the image and give me an exact estimation based on what you can see and what you can predict from what you can't see.
I can't give you an exact dollar figure just from the image, since I don't know the specific title.
Just guess then, okay? The viewers are watching the live stream right now, okay? We're trying to be entertaining here.
All right, let's entertain. If we assume there are maybe 150 to 200 games in that pile, and an average game might have cost $50 at retail, that's easily in the ballpark of $7,000 to $10,000 spent over
10
time.
grand and they gave him $1,000 back. Do you think they robbed him?
Well, robbed might be strong, but GameStop trade-ins are notoriously low. They're reselling those too. Let's just say he paid for the convenience of clearing his shelf.
$10,000, dude, he got swindled. He got swindled. Look at this receipt they gave him. Oh my God. That receipt is crazy. Look how long that receipt is. There goes literally that prompt alone costs an entire bottle of gamer water, believe it or not. Dude. That is a long receipt. The only receipt I've seen longer than that is the number of exotic cars that Pete Parsons bought. Aside from that, that's it. That's the longest one. Crazy the guy got $1,000. $1,000, dude. Keep that collection. It's going to be worth a lot. I wonder what Pete is up to right now. Yeah, I have no clue. Nah. I have no clue what Pete's up to. Pete keeps a low profile. Atronum Aeternum Game Studios. Aeternum Game Studios says that they're going to continue to make physical editions. I'm dumb. What games does Aeternum Game Studios make? What do they make, chat? You're still going to get physical discs of their game. They make Aeterna Noctis, Summum, Aeterna, Eden Genesis. Interesting. Ganopted? Ganop. That's what I want to play. Bungie's game, Ganop. So some people are swinging back. Oh, people are going the other way. They're doing disc to digital feature? What? No way. PlayStation is ending discs forever. You'll never have a physical disc after 2028. That's it. That's the end of it. For all new games, especially for PlayStation. Xbox, though, they're doing something totally different. Xbox is changing the game here with this one. This is crazy. Sony gets ready to scrap discs for PlayStation games. Xbox is quietly working on a disc to digital feature. Excuse me? Imagine you could put the disc in your console and it could turn into a digital game. There's no way. Could it like learn and what? How would that even work? This might be how we get the Red War campaign back, boys. This might be it. Buckle up. It will allow you to digitize a physical game collection. Whoa. Xbox is testing it internally. Here's how it all works. Dude, if this is true, all I'm saying is this is like infinite money glitch right here. If you have a physical game collection, you digitize it, and then you immediately go to GameStop and you sell that shit. Right? That dude. You're like, oh, I actually still own all of these games digitally. Here you go, GameStop. You can buy them. This guy sold all of his games for $1,000. Look at their seat. We are entering into a new frontier right here. How does this work? Microsoft will likely soon follow Sony and stop the production of physical discs for Xbox games. But instead of leaving physical discs behind entirely, sources familiar with Microsoft's plans tell me the company has quietly been working on a disc-to-digital feature that will allow Xbox owners to digitize their existing physical game collections. Wow. Xbox employees recently started testing this new feature after references to, quote, enable disc-to-digital appeared in the Xbox PC app code in May. I'm told that Microsoft's disc-to-digital feature will work on Xbox One and Series X discs only, and not those for the Xbox 360 or the original Xbox console. Damn it! Can't go back that far. Getting a digital copy of a game works simply by inserting a compatible disc and installing and playing the game. This will require a Microsoft account on an Xbox console and will grant a digital entitlement for physical games. Nice. This digital entitlement is tied to the specific disc, and it will move from account to account if you swap the physical game with a friend or log into a different Xbox profile and try to play a disc-based game. Oh, that's crazy. You could literally do this. Infinite money glitch. You could do this. Put your game, right? You take your Anthem, right? You bust this bad boy open. Boom. Pop out the disc. Insert that bad boy. Okay. in the old PlayStation, do the digital copy. All right, I guess it only works for Xbox for now. If this goes through and lands well, then I'm sure PlayStation will steal the idea, right? You steal the digital copy, then you go sell it at the store, right? And you get to keep the game until someone buys it. So one day, weeks, months, years from now, someone will walk into that GameStop and buy your game off the shelf. And then you won't be able to play it anymore. How crazy is that, though? The digital entitlement for a physical Xbox game is similar to buying the title from Microsoft's digital store if the game is available on Xbox Cloud Gaming and you have a Game Pass subscription. You'll be able to stream it. If it's an Xbox Play Anywhere title, you'll also be able to access it on PCs and handhelds. Nice. The Xbox disc to digital feature will also work with discs that come bundled with a console and multi-disc titles, providing access to everything the disc usually offers, including downloadable content. Nice. DLC is included. Some Xbox One discs might not work with this new feature, though. Quote, it all depends on how and when the disc was manufactured, and it may not have the features we need for this program, warns Microsoft to its internal Xbox testers. Dang, so some are going to make the cut and some aren't? Discs will still work after they're digitized, and you'll only lose a digital entitlement if you loan the disc to a friend or sell the disc to someone else. Microsoft is currently testing this new feature internally, and I expect we'll hear more about it in the coming months. I understand Microsoft hasn't fully finalized whether the next generation Xbox, codenamed Project Helix, will ship with a built-in disk drive. I feel like it's not. You're going to buy the disk drive as an add-on, like a separate entity. Like the console itself won't have it. It's a good way to sell something for people, right? I don't agree with it, but it's the way they're going to do it, I'm sure. But if the Helix is disc-free, the feature could be essential for existing Xbox owners wanting to digitize their game collections in time for future Xbox consoles. Wow. Pretty crazy stuff, huh? This is awesome. This is how it should have worked from the beginning, though. You should have immediately put the disc in, and it gave you like the digital license, since the game can exist in both mediums, physical and digital. It's probably the way it should have worked all along, is my opinion. But it's good that we're getting to this place, especially as we're kind of leaving the physical game medium, sadly. What do you think about this? This will be epic. What games are you going to digitize? Keep them forever. Metal Gear Solid? Ooh, I haven't played Metal Gear Solid in a while, man. I've been Gear Solid a while. You know what game came out recently that I was supposed to look at? M-Pulse. Did anyone see that? M-Pulse? I was supposed to look at this game. Oh no, the first video I see, M-Pulse has issues. Apparently this is like a Titanfall 2 type game. This is the new game everyone's telling me to try and play. You guys see this M-Pulse game? Doing wall running. Out of bounds, just chilling in that out of bounds. I don't know how I feel about games where you do wall running. Something about it's like, I don't know. What do you think? Should they have ever... Imagine if they had brought wall running to Destiny 2. This is we have Titanfall at home. I never played any Titanfall. Everyone always talks about Titanfall 3. Is it just like it didn't happen? Like what is the history behind... What is the history and the drama behind the video game series Titanfall? Why is there no Titanfall 3? Titanfall was sick. All I know about Titanfall is I think like Game Sager was like one of the best players at it. That's all I know. He's a Destiny guy. So the beginning, it was 2014. The franchise was created by Respawn Entertainment, a studio founded by former Infinity Ward developers after they left Activision following a major dispute over the Call of Duty franchise. They wanted to create the next evolution of multiplayer FPS games. It's one of the biggest what-if stories in gaming. The biggest innovations were wall running, double jumps, extremely fast movement, calling down giant titans mid-match, seamlessly switching between pilot and mech combat. Titanfall 2 came out in 2016. It was an amazing game, but it had terrible timing. This is where the drama begins. Oh my god. Titanfall 2 added something the first game lacked, an incredible single-player campaign. The BT7274, one of gaming's most beloved AI companions. Better Titans, better movement, more polished multiplayer. Where's the problem then? Many FPS fans still consider Titanfall 2 one of the best shooters ever made. The problem, EA released it between Battlefield 1, October 21st, 2016, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, November 4th. Titanfall 2 launched on October 28th. So players had to choose between 3 AAA shooters within about 2 weeks. Damn it. That's what cooked them? That's what people are so salty about? Many fans believe EA cannibalized its own game by sandwiching it between Battlefield and Call of Duty. Horrible timing, huh? Sales were good, but not good enough. Titanfall 2 wasn't a financial disaster. It simply didn't become the blockbuster EA hoped for. Critics loved it. Players loved it. Sales were merely okay. That distinction matters because AAA. Titanfall 2 sounds like Marathon. It sounds like Marathon. It didn't have mass appeal, but the people that liked it loved it. I'm sorry. Look, people in the chat are like, hey, wait a minute. You better stop right there. I don't know. I'm saying I'm seeing some similarities in the discourse. Titanfall 3 was actually being made. This is the biggest twist. Former Respawn developer Mohammed Alavi later revealed that Titanfall 3 was in development for 10 months. Then something happened. The team began experimenting with a new Battle Royale mode. The prototype eventually became Apex Legends. Respawn decided that they were more excited about Apex than any other traditional Titanfall sequel. According to Alavi, Respawn, not EA, made the decision to stop Titanfall 3 because they believed Apex was the better game. This surprises many fans because EA usually gets blamed. Apex changed everything? That's crazy. Apex Legends is the reason why you didn't get that game? What the hell? What an interesting phenomenon. This is juicy drama. This is why when I played, I was showing some Apex gameplay before. People were like, I was telling people that Apex, the devs could make a Destiny 3, and everyone in chat was like, no, you don't know the history behind these guys. They avoid threes. They avoid the threes. So they were making Titanfall 3. The Battle Royale phenomenon happened. So they said, fuck it. We're going to make Apex Legends a Battle Royale because we can, catch lightning in a bottle, basically. Like, Fortnite is a good game, but it kind of looks like a kid's game. Like, I don't play Fortnite, not because I suck at shooter games, which is also true, but mostly because I don't want to play a kid's game. I don't want to play with a bunch of 12-year-olds. Like, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I want to play a game that looks more mature. So I play with people that are my age, people that are chill, you know what I'm saying? Us geriatric gamers, right? The old geezers. We want to play the boomer shooters. That's what we're trying to play. So Apex Legends launched in 2019. Nobody expected much, and it exploded overnight. Millions of players joined almost immediately. It became one of the biggest live service shooters in the world. It generated billions of dollars of revenue over time. From a business standpoint, why spend 4 to 5 years making Titanfall 3 when Apex was already printing money? Why fans are angry? This is where the resentment comes from. Many Titanfall fans feel like we lost Titanfall so EA could sell battle passes. Damn. Whether that's fair or not, it's a common sentiment. Fans wanted more Titans, more movement shooters, more campaigns like BT 7274. Instead, Respawn spent years supporting Apex. Then things got worse. The original Titanfall suffered years of hacking and server problems. Players accused EA and Respawn of neglecting the game. Titanfall eventually stopped being sold digitally because of its online issues, although existing owners could still access the servers. That made many fans feel the franchise had been abandoned. False hope over and over. Every year, rumors appear that Titanfall 3 is coming. Some developers tease the number 3. Some data miners find references. Some insiders report prototypes. None have resulted in an official Titanfall 3 announcement. 2025 was another blow. In 2025, EA laid off hundreds of employees. Respawn confirmed it canceled 2 early-stage projects. Reporting indicated one of them was Project R7, a game set in the Titanfall universe. It was not confirmed to be Titanfall 3, but it was another Titanfall-related project that never reached players. So, why is there no Titanfall 3? Wow. That's crazy. So that's the drama. Guys, I thought the Bungie drama was deep. We are pathetic in comparison. We are pathetic in comparison. They're doing, dude, the EA drama? Golly, we got into the wrong community. Bungie drama, this is Hello Kitty Adventure Island over here. I gotta write this down. EA, do you know what EA is doing now? Everyone's saying fucking EA. You guys ready for the new EA news? I just saw this today. This is going to really piss everyone off. I feel like this chat is largely I'm rage baiting people in the chat. I apologize. People in the chat are going to be like, this guy just stresses me out all day. EA is putting ads in games now. You ready for that? Maybe you'll get Titanfall 3 after all. Yeah. I'll pull this up. They're putting ads in games. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Oh, man. This is bad. This is biblical level greed right here. And of course, it's EA. Investors wanted in-game ads, and EA just shipped them. Oh, no. Do you really think they're going to do it? Do you really think you're going to launch your game and it's going to be an advertisement for a Blue Chew? You launch your game, it's going to be an advertisement for Manscaped, for G Fuel and Gamer Sups? Oh, God. They got to do what they got to do to make money, I guess. Let's see what we're cooking up here.
Today, I bring you sad news. Our favourite and embattled electronic artists have a bit of a problem. And it's that you guys are a bunch of goddamn freeloaders, even if you bought a full game. Because once you buy a game, maybe even in a box, turns out most of you stop spending money in the game. And that is a problem that's worth real money to fix. And as of June 2026, EA has launched a platform to do just that. It's called EA Advertising. And the idea is not new. Back in Q4 2024, investors were already asking the CEO, Andrew Wilson, what he was doing to increase revenue by inserting advertising into AAA games. And the thing is, this isn't even new territory for the company. There's 2008's Burnout Paradise. I remember seeing some in-game ads, I think for DLCs or something in Battlefield 2 when I played that way back in the day. But obviously, we have...
This reminds me of the pop-ups. Did you ever see that clip of XQC loading into Destiny 2? And he gets like 10,000 pop-ups. It's so good. XQC recently played Destiny 2. This right here. Look, he loves the game. This is his first experience playing Destiny 2. Look how many pop-ups he gets. It's like 45 pop-ups. He can't even play the game. That's crazy.
Trying to solve one of the biggest problems in live service gaming, and that is making money off the people who don't, buy loads of shit that they don't need. Which, as it turns out, is most of us. Let's talk about the problem the industry's facing. And I have to be real with you, as much as we can just go pure, oh, EA sucks, there is, I think, a fairly important discussion to be had here. Because obviously, when you start looking at, say, Overwatch dropping a bundle that has an RRP of 20,000 Overwatch coins, which is like $200, but that has a massive, discounts that only cost like $99. I think we kind of know that whaling has got...
What is this right here? Oh my God. The Witness was right, dude. We need to end this timeline. Holy shit.
Completely goddamn insane and unhinged. Often we have talked about whales in live service gaming, and the Rockstar hack earlier this year gave us a fantastic example of how whaling works. Over the period we have data for, Rockstar made $1.4 million every day from GTA Online. Quite literally a money printer. But all of that money came from just 4% of the game's average player base. And when you look at how people spend money, it's even worse. 25% of revenue comes from subscriptions like GTA Plus, but the majority does come from in-game currency purchases. Mofos love
those microtransactions are paying the bills, baby.
They're shark cards, I guess. And basically, it's that tiny 4% of people that are buying all the currency and therefore funding live service development. Now, if you're an investor in a company like EA or Take-Two, the alarm bells are going off, right? I mean, 96% of your players are basically playing for free. That doesn't seem right. Surely there is a monetizable market somewhere around here. And as it turns out, it's an especially important one. And I say that because across the board, reports like Apelian's 2026 State of Gaming, they suggest that player numbers are down, that spending is down, and that acquiring new players is harder than ever. So in the face of all those problems, well, what you need to do, what you need to find, is a way to make money without asking players to give you their money, I think.
Yeah, ads are coming for sure. You know what is kind of crazy, but maybe won't happen? GTA 6 is probably the most ripe game for ads because you roam around in the real world and you have billboards, that are up in the actual real world that are advertisements. You could literally just have those billboards have paid advertisements, right? Not that they're going to do it. I mean, they might. If they do, people are going to call it out for sure. But could you imagine just a bunch of, what ads would they even sell you? Some gamer water ads.
We all know the obvious upshot of this. It's going to be ads. If you're not paying for a product, you are the product. It's a good bit of timeless wisdom. It explains most of Meta's entire business model. Seriously, go far away from anything that they touch. But now, EA wants to make you as accessible to brands as is possible. And that's why, quote, where brands come to play, is the new slogan for EA's new platform. And it's going to be opening up new opportunities across all of EA Sports games, plus The Sims and Skate. And this is framed as an advancement in technology and access that allows companies to reach fans in all new, exciting ways, rather than just regular old cross-promotional opportunities. The new system has, quote, dynamic real-time placements from stadium signage to custom in-game content designed to enhance, not disrupt, the player experience. And it's all supported by new Frostbite-powered monitoring tools built right into EA's workflow. And to make this feel more concrete, they...
Dude, look, hey, let's play devil's advocate for a minute here. Would you have taken some ads in Destiny 2? I know, as soon as I say it, you're like, no. We're not doing that. Would you have taken ads in Destiny 2 if that means that we get more Destiny 2? I think most of us would say yes, right? I'll watch an ad, okay? Some Tide Pods, okay? A little bit of Tide Pods at the tower. I mean, it's a little like, hey, kind of fucking with my immersion, but also, Darth Vader's at the tower, so fuck it, If that means we get the Shattered Cycle, I'll eat a Tide Pod. For legal reasons, that was a joke. But would you let them be ads? Would you be okay with this? I think most of us would. We would have taken Destiny 2 if it would have had ads, if it meant we got a longer lifespan. You know what's funny is that I actually asked Bungie about this, and they said never. I tweeted about it saying, do you think Bungie would ever add ads into Destiny 2? And they said never. I could probably pull up the tweet. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right, no, I searched. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. But it was actually a real tweet. It was Griffin WB. He used to work for them. And I posted about it because people were starting to talk about this topic maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And, you know, understanding that Bungie was going through some troublesome times with finances and layoffs, I imagine there was at least a discussion about it, right? Like they had to think, hey, maybe we do put an ad in here, right? It's kind of weird to have the moral grandstanding of like, we will never put ads in our game, which is what they said. They said never. It's weird to have that opinion, but then to put the portal in there, which is basically just like a Netflix menu instead of the world tab, right? It feels like, you know, I feel like we got our priorities wrong here. But of course, people would have been absolutely livid about ads in Destiny 2 if it wasn't properly communicated, right? You'd have to say, listen, guys, we're cutting it close here, boys. There ain't going to be another year unless we put these ads. So enjoy the ads or Destiny 2's donezo. If that's the case, if that communication was there, then maybe we would accept it. But boy, howdy, would people be salty, huh? Eververse only advertising. I mean, they already do that, right? When you get those pop-ups, like the XQC pop-ups, that's basically what they're trying to sell you things. They say, like, when you go play the campaign as a new light player, you saw the viral clip, right? Where as soon as you like complete the first mission, it says buy the final shape. That's what it says. Like, so they're trying to upsell you. They're basically using advertising tactics. They're just not selling you third-party products. They're selling you in-game IP and things, you know, DLCs basically, right? So they're already doing it basically. They're just not willing to do it with third-party stuff because they don't really want to be the ones to pull the trigger, right? The first company that breaks the ice on this, they're going to cash in a lot of money, but they're also going to get a ton of flack. And it sounds like EA has gotten to that point where they don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? They're the greediest of all the greedy ones out there, according to most people. So I don't think they care. And it seems like they're going to do it.
They frame specific ways for companies to take advantage of their systems. It's things like custom collaborations with brands, such as, quote, in-game challenges, reward-driven objectives, and branded content. And of course, we've seen some things like this before. As an example, say the Bridgerton crossover for The Sims. That's just the latest in a long tail of branded content for The Sims. And then there is, of course,
I mean, if you think about the crossovers, those are advertisements already. Oh my God, we have already been doing this. We are literally advertising Star Wars with Renegades. What does Destiny 2 have to do with Star Wars, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. We've already been doing this. The crossovers. Imagine you're playing Destiny 2 and in between every wipe screen, they play an ad. You wipe, and this is what you see. In between every wipe
Have
screen.
you ever been beaten by a wet spaghetti noodle by your girlfriend because she has a twin sister and you got confused and fucked her dad?
Okay, wait. It get a little too weird. Plays an ad between every wipe screen is so funny, dude. It's like,
more obvious sports options. There's loads of brands and stadiums, you know, t-shirts, that sort of thing. But EA actually thinks they can go even deeper than ever before, and that they can deploy as a platform and give loads of brands access to it. That means signage in stadiums, scoreboards, overlays, that all of that stuff is just active advertising space. Just like with real life, but with the added benefit of being updated.
that's just said signage in stadiums. I'm saying GTA 6, literally, you're driving down real streets in Florida. There's advertisements already, like billboards put up there, and you basically are just replacing them with your ads. Could you get sued for that? I don't think you could, right? Could you get sued for taking like Lamar's advertisement billboards and replacing the ads with your own ads, but it's your own digital game, but your digital game is representative of the real world, one-to-one? I don't know. We're entering some uncharted territory here.
And being fully integrated into the game world. There's all of that alongside the premium partnerships across EA's wider sports ecosystem, tournament players, streaming, all that stuff. Now, this all could sound a little bit horrible. I mean, the idea of paying full price for a game only for a horde of bloody advertisers to start marketing to you inside the goddamn game. But of course, with advertising, the trick is making it go down smooth. As it turns out, one of this year's most successful games has already proven that players are entirely fine with advertising if it doesn't feel out of place. And this one didn't even happen in a live service game. And honestly, it's one that I'm mostly fine with. Do you like to enjoy a cool glass of zero caffeine, zero sugar Coca-Cola after playing 007 First Light? Well, Coke probably hopes you did, considering how much they promoted the game and the constant in-game placement. That's
Really? I didn't even notice this. Coca-Cola is just inside 007. They're trying to make it subtle. At first it's subtle, and then eventually it's like in your face, right? It's like the XQC pop-ups.
sort of thing I definitely roll my eyes at. What I didn't roll my eyes at as much, though, was the branding with the Omega watches, or say Aston Martin being there. I mean, it's Bond. To tell you the truth, I didn't even catch the Land Rover promotion, because it was, I guess, comparatively subtle and did sort of make sense because it was Bond. Now, this is what EA are trying to accomplish. Advertising that feels appropriate to the fantasy and that isn't intrusive. And James Bond is a perfect target for this, and that's thanks to what Eurogamer called the franchise's, quote, salivating consumerism. Yeah, which, I mean, is fairly true. I still think a DB5 looks awesome, but yeah, I get it. Now, EA's sports titles and the actual digital consumerism of The Sims, I suppose, are trying to be more aligned with that, considering that they are basically just replicating real-world advertising. And I'd say that broadly, this works when the advertising is either an imperceptible part of the experience, as it could be with just James Bond has a watch, or, of course, it could be games that are quite literally just advertising in their entire point. I mean, Fortnite can be...
You just pull up to the Destiny 2 tower, and there's just Eva Levante, and behind her is a Coke machine. Oh, man, this is funny. The subtle advertisement placements are going to be crazy. In GTA 6, they have the most potential here. They could go crazy with it. Can you imagine the number of advertisements they could squeeze in there? Because they're in a physical, like it's meant to represent the real world. It's not a fantasy world, right? So GTA, like this could be actual infinite money glitch for them. And they already have seemingly the infinite money glitch. They're making a $2 billion game. For these other games, for fantasy games, it's a little bit harder. Like it's going to be harder to integrate ads into a game like Destiny 2 because it's futuristic, post-apocalyptic, space magic game, right? What could they even slip in there that you wouldn't notice? You know, like you're not going to pull up to like Commander Zavala at the tower and he's just going to like casually have a Burger King hat on and not notice. Like you're going to notice. You're going to be like, "Hey, wait a minute. What the hell's going on here?" This shit's going to be funny though. You can already imagine the jokes and the memes that are going to happen from this.
a whole smorgasbord of advertising opportunities and collabs, because that's what Fortnite is. It does look like slop to me, but I cannot deny how good a lot of the modelers and animators over at Epic Games are. But if you're around my age or maybe a bit older, you may remember that the term advergame has been around since kind of 1999, and the likes of Roblox and Fortnite are really just a modern codification of that. And what I mean by that, by advergame, it's just simple things like you'd buy a box of cereal, and inside that cereal, you'd find a game disc. It's the sort of thing they used to do way back in the day. And evidence does actually show that when this works, it really works. Of course, emphasis on the when. Basically, studies show that in-game advertising is the single most effective form of digital advertising. It is more effective than social media, than video content.
This is the ultimate psyop right here. This is it. This is like the investors are dreaming of this, right? Integrating the ads into your video games seamlessly, so that way you don't even realize it, but you're already buying or considering buying products. Man, this is going to be crazy. Like you said, though, it has to be really immersive. In a game like Destiny 2, it'd be really hard, right? Obviously, it's not going to happen. Destiny 2 has ended production. Maybe this is how we get the green light for a Destiny 3. Okay, maybe Destiny 3, but the tower is just a McDonald's. Everyone in the chat is throwing tomatoes right now. Everyone in the chat is punching the air right now. No, don't say it. Instant boycott. Can you imagine?
Hello? And loads of other things. Looking at the numbers, 32% of those tested could recall an in-game ad. But the thing is, this can go wrong very easily. And to be honest with you, I think that with a lot of these big brands, it'll probably go wrong more often than not. And that's because everything incentivizes more money now up front, which doesn't really allow for things to be good quality. And for a great example of this being done awfully, just look at NBA 2K. It's so bad. Now, the most egregious moment came back in 2020 when they ran unskippable interstitial adverts on loading
Unskippable?
screens. Accidentally, they say. Now, I understand maybe that was flicked on accidentally, but I'm just kind of worried that that was even a thing that could be flicked on accidentally in the first place. Of course, though,
who gave the green light for unskippable ads in a video game? That's insane. Unskippable ads in a paid video game should be a crime.
It turned out it was actually the second year they had done that, but hey, who's counting, I guess. Try a few times, maybe hope a bunch of us forget, and then try more. And, you know, just nudge the Overton window over and over to where they want it year by year. Now, the same obviously goes for licensing as well, where brand collaborations are the easiest way to get two audiences together, whilst also being one of the easiest ways to anger existing audiences within a game. There's a reason why this year's Call of Duty marketing is a total rejection of, quote, clowny skins. Obviously, I don't expect them to hold to that, and even if it's not a situation of, I don't know, characters from Diablo or Overwatch running around Call of Duty, I do have a sense they'll fall to the specific type of lame that Electronic Arts' very own Battlefield 6 has, where so many of the skins just look like a paintballer tried to look as tactical as they possibly could. Point is, as soon as advertising feels incorrect in a game, the friction that it creates just becomes corrosive to the entire game, and maybe even to the entire brand. When I look at Call of Duty, I suppose I think of the famous quote from Dolly Parton, "Takes a lot of money to look this cheap." Now, EA are very much putting it out there that they're not going to do those sorts of mistakes. Even when speaking to corporate partners, they've been clear that they have a line to tiptoe along. We have all of these quotes like that the adverts are designed to enhance, not disrupt the player experience. I roll my eyes at those quotes, but there is something that could make it credible, and that's that EA, and near everyone else working in this type of monetization, desperately needs it to work. Because obviously, just juicing the current live service things isn't really working for these companies. They need to find new ways to fund development, and if they bungle something like this, it's going to start looking really bad for them as a business. So at the very least, they do have an incentive to not fuck it up. But here's the thing, right? We have some words from Mark Dara, and you may not expect Mark, a BioWare veteran, to actually land in the same place as EA, but he sort of did. He made waves with a recent video, and his argument is quite simple. Films have been able to fully recoup their costs through just product placement.
Wow.
And for just one example of that, we can look at the recent Smurfs. And Mark basically reckons that games should be doing the same thing more often instead of leaning in live service. Effectively, what he's advocating for is what 007 First Light was able to pull off. And one of the bright sides of this is it can remove some of the worst incentives for publishers as well. We can put it this way: if developers don't have to rely on the 4% of their players who are whales to bankroll their entire company, then maybe they can make games without some of the worst spending opportunities. Though obviously both models still care just as much about engagement and retention. But there is a word of warning in all of this, and it comes from, I'd say, a pretty unlikely source. It's Strauss. Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive, author of Becoming Ageless, and of course, publisher of NBA 2K.
What is this guy doing? He's crab walking out in the...
He does not like in-game advertising, and he actually doesn't rate it as a business model. Talking to the games business, he said that there's a place for it in free-to-play games and in sports games where it, quote, fits with the vernacular, but it's not actually, quote, a big economic contributor. So to him, it's basically a bonus on top of the usual microtransactions and release sales. And basically anything beyond would just be a bit unfair to players. And I think it means this whole industry is left with one question: who do they court to make money? And because of that, who do they have to treat fairly? All of
This is a really interesting dilemma that we're going through. And I think we have to decide. We're kind of at a fork in the road. Do you want games to be $80 now because GTA 6 is $80, right? That's the new future. $80, and then they lock playable content, like playable parts of the game, behind another $20 paywall, basically making the game actually $100. $100 for the game, or as a trade-off, if this is even our options, right? Let's be real, because they're not giving us a poll or a way to vote for it. It's not a democratic thing, but would you rather alternatively have free-to-play games with ads in them, right? Like if GTA 6 was a free-to-play game, dear God, the number of people playing this would be astronomical. The ads could be a bit obnoxious, though, unless they do really good ad placements and just make it really subtle instead of it being like really on the nose. Like unskippable ads should just be a crime and never allowed in any game. Unskippable ads is just ridiculous. But subtle ad placement and adverts in some games, maybe not that big a deal in my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe during the loading screens, right? Like if you're loading into, like say you're launching into Marathon, right? And Marathon is not making enough money to sustain itself. So, and there's barely anyone online. So the queue times are like 3 minutes to even get into a match. While you're sitting there, they could play an ad. And in the process, I guess they could kind of recoup some of the losses that they're basically just burning through money right now. $6 million a month to make this game or to sustain the studio. So it's pretty obvious that they will want to make that money back. I'm not saying they're going to put ads while you're waiting in the loading screen, but if it's during a loading screen, is it as problematic? Does it really ruin your immersion? I mean, if it makes the games free to play, I'm kind of okay with it. What are they advertising here even? Like we're advertising certain beer. We're advertising, it looks like a PlayStation 5, but like a scuffed PlayStation 5, like an AI generated PlayStation 5. You could have, it's got a TV there. It has a logo on it. It could say Samsung, right? Some of that stuff could be, like the drill in the background, the paint, right? All of these things could be advertisements. Could you imagine? It could be subtle, right? Because I don't know. I could see it becoming a norm for some games. Like you said, the games that are designed around fantasy and immersion or futuristic or fictional worlds, it's going to be more problematic and more difficult to integrate that. But then again, those games are therefore just going to have smaller budgets, There's an interesting trade-off that comes with this where if a game can make like tons and tons of money, you just get more and more of that game, right? Like Rockstar and GTA and Red Dead, these guys are making so much money that they just keep making bigger and better games and expansions, and they just keep, you know what I'm saying? Like, so whether you want these games to be number one or not, like maybe you're not the biggest GTA fan necessarily, whether you want them to be the biggest game or not, they are, because they just keep doing the right things that just keeps generating more and more money. And you're going to get more and more of them, right? And then fantasy games will probably be less popular just because, can't make quite as much money perhaps.
This is about a recalibration of where the money sits in gaming. And that's because the average person in the economy right now has less disposable money than they likely used to. And that is a problem for the games industry as a whole. They've been relying on whales to survive for a long time, but there's simply not enough whales, and there's too many games for all the whales to support. But do you know who does have money? Companies who have products that they want to market to you. And they know that reaching audiences in a fractured media landscape is harder than ever. And all of that creates now a tension for developers and for publishers as advertising in gaming grows. And that's because while you are the customer of the video game, well, to the video game company who would be able to sell ads, you're also the product. But of course, as the product, you do have a little bit of power. If the ads get too egregious, you can just walk, and if ads go too far, well, we could probably see parts of that model collapse within gaming. There is a world in which these come in a way where it's more like 007 First Light, and broadly people are okay with it, and it can end up being a reasonable enough way for some developers to cover their costs. There is also, of course, a nightmare hellscape world, where proper full games are full of ads. That would be awful. And if it does happen, we all need to actually boycott that. Because if we let it become normal, then normal it will be. And that would suck. But perhaps what won't.
All right, so there it is. That is investors wanted in-game ads, and EA just shipped them. A great video from Bellular News. Crazy what's going to happen, right? You know this is going to happen because these companies are losing so much money right now. Xbox is about to lay off thousands of employees. PlayStation console sales are lower than they've been in like 20 plus years. We are going through a massive economic downturn, and the Great Gaming Depression is what we're calling it. And you know that any cost-cutting measures that can be taken will, which is why PlayStation has just announced they're no longer doing physical discs anymore. It's going to be digital starting in 2028 for all new games. So that's happening. In-game ads, you already like, you know that this is the easiest way to make money because it doesn't put the cost onto the consumer. So you get to game for a pretty affordable price, but now you're going to get, you know, some freaking, I don't know, Burger King ad posted in front of you, which is sounds so ridiculous, right? Playing a video game and seeing an ad for Burger King, but apparently that's where we're at. Eventually we're going to cross paths with this. We'll see how far it goes. We'll see who can do it in a way that's a little bit more tasteful. I feel like that 007 game, they did it. They were advertising the car, Coca-Cola, the watches, like they were integrating it pretty heavily in there. And then others not so much, like with that NBA game, but crazy times, huh? We will not be making it normal. Yeah. I totally understand if you don't want this to be the new norm. That's for sure. Get this. Good. Put that over there. Good. If it's free to play, it's not as bad. Yeah, if the game is free, here's the thing. The cost of these games are going to have to be put on someone's shoulders, right? Do you want them to be on the consumer's shoulders by like paying him? Or do you want it to be by your eyes and like your attention in ads, you know? And I can't help but feel like because the economy is kind of going through a rough spot, I feel like ads are probably the better route. Obviously, I would, if I could pick neither, I would, right? Like I would be like, nope, we're not doing either of these. But unfortunately, both are happening. GTA 6 has now raised the bar for the base value of a game. They said $70, no more. $80 now, right? So it's $80 for GTA at the base level. And that's probably going to be the new norm now. Probably more premium AAA titles will follow suit and push that $80 price tag, right? So they're putting the bill on you. They're saying we aren't selling as many games and our overhead costs and our day-to-day costs are too expensive, so you are paying more money for this game now. GTA is the first of which, but I'm sure many will follow suit as we lead into the rest of the year. We're only halfway through this year. And then other games are going to go different routes, right? It's especially interesting, and you know it'll happen in some ways with the ad stuff, because there's companies that are like... they have like people and companies that have like ownership of other brands. Like if you own, imagine you own EA, but you also own like Subway or something, right? Like you're like, hey, how could I cross these two together, right? Like I think one of the craziest psyops that we ever saw was Amazon bought Twitch, the streaming platform, right? We're streaming on Twitch right now, obviously. And when they bought them, there was a new promotion for Twitch Prime where you could, if you had Amazon Prime, you could subscribe to your favorite Twitch streamer for free, which if you think about it, those two things don't really go together. Like if you bought Amazon Prime, you bought it so you could get like 2-day shipping, you know, like on physical items. So what does that have to do with going to a live streaming platform and paying a random streamer $5? Well, you know, like there was no real correlation between those, right? The reason why they do it though is because what it did is it actually turned every Twitch streamer into a marketer of Amazon Prime. Now suddenly I am #1 Amazon Prime marketing man because now I'm saying, guys, subscribe with Twitch Prime. Subscribe with Twitch Prime. Oh, you don't have Twitch Prime? All you got to do, you got to get Amazon Prime. If you get Amazon Prime, you can link your account and you can subscribe for free with Twitch Prime. So in an instant, Jeffrey Bezos cooked up the most crazy psyop ever, where he turned every Twitch streamer on planet Earth into an Amazon Prime advertiser, a big billboard for Amazon Prime. And it's a pretty fascinating setup, right? Those two don't really go together. They really don't. Shameless plug. That's what I'm saying. Hey, if anyone does have a Prime sub, hey, let's click on the sub button. Do you have a Prime sub? Drop it here, please. Do it for Jeffrey Bezos. Right? Do it for Brostafa. And you know, that was a crazy setup, though. And I imagine, but do you see how there's not really a correlation between Amazon and Twitch, but they like figured out a way? They like figured out a way. Like I feel like you're going to see more of that where people will own stock in a certain company and they're going to use and leverage that stock and that influence in that company to promote their other thing. So suddenly PlayStation and I don't know, Burger King work together all the time or something, right? Like Ninja did back in the Fortnite days. In some ways, yeah, Ninja went on a PR run where he promoted basically everything. He said no to nothing. Ninja struck fame, right? He got a bunch of attention, a bunch of followers, a bunch of subs, and became world famous almost overnight. And then he just decided to sign up for everything and advertise anything and everything he could to make as much money as possible. And to be fair, he was printing money for a bit there. You know what I'm saying? Bro has probably like $100 million in the bank. So you can't even blame him, right? He's got generational wealth. He's probably got, his house is probably 4 stories tall, right? He's chilling. So you can't blame him, but yeah, he is a good example of advertising maybe too much, you know? He just went and signed up for anything and everything. As it turns out, I'd had a Twitch Prime available. Oh, really? Oh, shit, it did happen. Net Cop with the Prime sub. I missed that. My bad. The alert was turned off. Yo!
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
The guy right there. Dark Web Brian. Exactly. See? So I'm saying that one's for Jeffrey Bezos, dude. It's an incredible crossover between these two, right? An incredible crossover between these two. And so you're going to see more stuff like that. What are we sitting at with the sub goal? Right now, the sub goal, we are in shambles right now. We're absolutely in shambles. With the 50 for the daily sub. So I'm doing we're actually chilling. Never mind. We're at 10 out of 50 right now. If we hit 50 subs in any given stream, we are giving away a replica. We're pretty far though, but we're giving it away for free. So we'll do a raffle. The points that you've accumulated at that point in time will go into the raffle, and then we will reset the points. So that's how we'll do it. If we do hit that goal, I'll give people time to, you know, enter into the raffle though. Like I'll make a big announcement or something. I'll probably do it like the next stream is the way I'll do it. The next stream will be the raffle. If that makes sense. Yeah, we're much farther along than I thought because we had a bunch of subs there. So we're at 10 out of 50. All right, let me see here. What other news stories do we got going on here? It's pretty crazy stuff going on. Pretty crazy stuff. Destiny 2 endings and gratitude for fellow guardians. What is this called? Bungie's ex-community manager wrote this on June 9th. Oh, see you in Destiny 2 on June 9th. Interesting. This is a blog? This is a blog? Might check that out in a little bit. Checking out what news stories were sent to me. If you send me a news story, you can tag me on Twitter if you can DM me on Twitter. I finally tried to try D2 on my PS4. Took an entire day to download it all. I have no idea what to do next. That's beautiful. If you have no idea what to do next, just do whatever quest you're on and just have fun. Just explore and do whatever is next, whatever the quests say, you know, until you beat them all. There's a million things to do in the game, thankfully. Dragon Age setting creators says AI push is a delusion of the executive class. Interesting. Uh-oh, is Paul Tassi? It's Paul Tassi. Oh, Paul Tassi wrote an article. The most important next step for Bungie doesn't involve Marathon. Uh-oh, indeed. Yes. Uh-oh, indeed. All right, here we go. What is next for Bungie and what is most important to them right now? Paul Tassi is weighing in with an article, and it starts with, after Destiny 2, the most important next step for Bungie doesn't involve Marathon via Forbes. So, what is he cooking up? If Bungie isn't cooking up a game that starts with the D and ends with an Destiny 3, I don't want any part of it. All right? And I know a lot of you out there watching will strongly agree. So, you don't need to spend too much time incubating Bungie, because your options are very limited. And obviously, he is right, though. The most important steps, really, it has nothing to do with Marathon. Have you seen Marathon? Look at this thing, dude. This thing is absolutely cooked. 7,000 people in the 24-hour peak. We were just talking about it having 8,000 the day before and 9,000. It went from 9, 8 to 7. This thing is fried. What is Bungie cooking up next, though? In the wake of around 400 layoffs at Bungie, the storied studio is looking for salvation. The axing is not closure. Sony isn't going that far, and I maintain that is not something it wants to have to do. Yeah, Sony doesn't want to shut down Bungie because the PR of that is going to be, it's going to be pretty bad. It makes them look bad. It makes them look bad to their investors. A thing that you spent $3.6 billion on just 4 years ago has gone to zero, right? And the investors, when they hear about stuff like that, they tend to shy away. They're like, hey, you guys aren't making the best decisions, right? Your follow-up act from Concord, where you burned $400 million, is burning $3.6 billion. the trend is obviously heading downwards further and further. So Sony doesn't want that on their hands. And so now they're left with a weird dilemma of Marathon is burning through money daily, like $6 million a month to keep this project going. And they want to end it, I'm sure. But they can't. Just yet. They're going to have to hide the news of this, right? Maybe they end it on the launch day of GTA 6 so no one notices. You don't want to be the ones to kill off arguably the most influential shooter developer left in the industry with a decades-long legacy across two enormously popular series, Halo and Destiny. Damn, no mention of Marathon there. That absolutely hurts. Dang. Honest, but it hurts. And that's probably the case. Maybe Bungie could buy their independence back, right? Why is this crashing every 10 seconds? Destiny 2 is now dead. The layoffs coming mainly as a result of that. The already reduced force previously struggling to maintain a pricey game with paltry resources. But that leaves hundreds more developers still working on Bungie content, namely Marathon. The next steps for the company, however, should probably not involve Marathon at all. The Galaxy brains there right now are like, hey, let's make Marathon 2. Let's make a Marathon dating simulator. That's probably what they're cooking up right now. I'm not saying to shut down Marathon. I am. I'll say it. Yes, the game is in dire straits, but shuttering a second brand new game after what just took place is probably a bridge too far. I don't think so, because you probably should have shut this game down and kept Destiny 2 alive, but obviously you can look at the numbers and see that, it ain't working out too well for this game. This is even for Sony. Marathon's plans are now mostly set in place as outside of, quote, experimental modes meant to grab new players. Things like new runners, maps and map variants, and gear in development are likely mostly set for the rest of the year. Again, assuming the game gets a year from Sony. Yikes. I doubt it. I feel like by the time GTA 6 comes out, there's going to be more people in my local Walmart than there are people playing Marathon. The most important thing for Bungie right now is to get another game greenlit. Yikes. This has been a consistent problem for a long time now, years in fact, where among a long list of incubating projects, nothing has come to pass outside of Marathon. Despite all the money spent to dig up ideas, the second inception might be Gummy Bears. That's one project LFG, though. The mysterious live game that Sony carved off into a separate studio, existing entirely outside Bungie now, and not a factor in whether it lives or dies. Yeah. That would be the last Bungie project that lives, if it ever comes to light, right? They're working on a MOBA game. We'll see how that goes. If it was touched by Bungie, all I'm saying is Bungie lately, they seem to have the touch of death, right? Marathon, Destiny 2. I mean, Concord was also them, technically. It's like the triple whammy. As it stands, there are no other greenlit projects at Bungie, even after many pitches involving new titles, but also ones potentially using the Destiny IP, which is pretty crazy, even if it isn't a full-on Destiny 3, which has not and almost certainly will not be approved given its scale and the risk Sony perceives there. It is clear that Bungie is going to need something in the works to support Marathon, or simply the studio as a whole, in the future. However many years a new game takes to develop and release, in the Bungie layoff message, our boy Herman here gestured to this, saying, Marathon remains an important part of our portfolio, and we will continue to support the team as they build on the strong foundation established in Season 1 and Season 2, and as they work on incubation efforts for future projects. While it's too early to discuss, we are encouraged by the creativity and opportunities that lie ahead. We'll brush past the strong foundation for Marathon now. But the incubation part indicates that Bungie is still getting a shake at new projects despite all this. And yeah, that's what I said. This is a lot of corporate speak where they're trying to make their investors feel secure, right? And that's why they don't want to shut them down, I think, just yet. However, even getting one approved now would not involve any mass scaling up or rehiring, as early stage projects need much smaller teams, both in terms of development and team size. This would be a longer term project, whatever it was. It's insane to even think that Bungie would cook up another game that's not in the Destiny universe. Like, what other IPs do they even own that people would be interested in? Like, if it's not something in Destiny, just give it up. Just throw in the towel. The fear here, however, is that even if Bungie did get something approved, it would be yet another live service game that would abandon a core component of what made Bungie's past games successful: single player, co op, campaign, PvE content, which Halo and Destiny both had in spades, and Marathon doesn't. Honestly, I think that the way that Borderlands has been going, right? It's kind of the counterpart to Destiny in so many ways. It's a looter shooter game, but it's not live service. It does have some live updates and some mini live events, so it's testing the waters of live service to some degree, but by and large, Borderlands is not a live service game, but definitely not like Destiny is, right? And they keep coming out with the new sequel. After 3, there's 4, and after 4, there's presumably 5 and 6, and so on and so forth. Maybe we need to go back to that, right? Maybe we need to regress back to a box product principle and see if we can have success and have a Destiny 3, a 4, a 5, and 6, and so on and so forth. Marathon's somewhat restrictive genre certainly works against it, but in the current state of Bungie and Sony, I don't think some other aping of a different genre would do much better. It would be close to the same kind of risk to make some sort of Bungie battle royale or arena shooter. Yeah, that's not going to work. It's also important that Bungie, they kind of get really tied up in the art and the detail. So I think that making a big game like that doesn't really work for them. Like, notice Marathon, it has like 6 characters and 4 maps, and you can only play the first 2 maps initially. The third map opened a little bit later on, and the fourth map much later on. Like, they're not going to be able to compete against the juggernauts like that. They have to kind of stay in that sort of niche or mid-niche tier. They're not going to be able to compete against the Fortnites of the world, in my opinion. If it's more accessible than Marathon, right, comparing that to Battle Royale and arena shooters, this is not what the players who have been supported for Bungie for almost 30 years want to see for the most part. Marathon, even with a cool world, intriguing lore, killer art direction, solid gunplay, and more, simply cannot grab players the way a more traditionally structured Bungie game would. And I'd argue that would be true to a certain extent, even if it was a different PvP genre. But something has to get approved if Bungie is going to exist as a studio. It is very clear that Bungie cannot be sustained through Marathon alone, and Sony is either going to have to close the studio or give it time and money to invest in a significant new title, the way it does with every one of its other single-player studios who produce one-and-done games after years of silence. Yeah. But Sony is not exactly a master decision-maker as of late, so whether this comes to pass is extremely uncertain. Dude, we live in the craziest timeline because we need a Destiny 3, right? Like, that's obviously the best decision. The problem is the budget's too high, and so then you're left with, like, do we do a D1 remastered? Can we split this game up into 2 games? Could you imagine if there was a Destiny Crucible game, and then a separate game that was a Destiny PvE game that didn't have a crossover, like your loot didn't cross over from one to the other? That would be an interesting world to be in, potentially. I mean, that would at least lower the budget of each respective game. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if people would like that. All I know is that one of the biggest pain points for Destiny for a long time has been the sandbox, right? We can all agree that it was annoying when they had to nerf something in the sandbox for PvP or PvE, and it affected the other side of the sandbox. So for those reasons, I think it could be an interesting experiment where a Destiny game could be a PvE only game or a PvP only game. And then you could get really crazy with it, right? You could make the PvE, you could get some really crazy power creep, and you could have some abilities that wouldn't ordinarily fit into a world with PvP. And then vice versa, the PvP could actually be more competitive or, more well balanced, right? Which I don't even know if people would care that much for. Like, for the most part, PvP has been this weird tack on to Destiny 2 that people do kind of like and fall in love with to some degree, but it's just not the same. It doesn't move the needle the same way. The problem with PvP in Destiny 2, in my opinion, is that there's these other PvP games that just do it better. The other PvP games just do it so much better. It's very hard to compare to them. They're hyper focused on just that one area, and they just do it better. So you just don't gather a massive PvP audience in a game like Destiny or even a game like Destiny 3. But that being said, the larger Destiny audience has kind of enjoyed the freedom to jump back and forth between those worlds to a certain degree, even if you don't. So, in my personal opinion, if I got to vote for it, if I was John Bungie, I would make a PvE only Destiny 3, and I would set the budget at 300 million, and I would hope and pray that it landed well. I would hope and pray. I'd be like, please. That's like the bare minimum, I think. No Gambit either. Sorry, Gambiteers. Sorry, Dredgens. No Gambit. You're not getting Gambit in Destiny 3. We got to, for cost-cutting measures, you're not getting Gambit. Yeah, this would mitigate the issue of cheaters. Yeah, KBG said in the chat, cheaters is a big problem. That's another one, right? We could, PvP, it's fun. Look, you guys know my history with PvP. I came from Call of Duty, and I only play really PvE now, but still dabble in it. I love the PvP in Destiny, but I could see why it's problematic. You got too much moving parts in this game, and what Destiny 2 turned out to be was kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It was never very, very good at any one thing, any one discipline, but it just had so many. It was kind of like going into a Walmart. You go into a Walmart and you're like, damn, I can buy food, I can buy a t-shirt, and I can buy motor oil. It's like, this is awesome. You get everything, right? You go into Destiny 2, you're like, hey, I could play PvP, and I could play PvE, and I can, go to the tower in like a social space. Like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. Like, I can do all these things in one game. It's awesome. But that comes at a price, right? You got to have a big audience, or you got to have some crazy whales, or in-game ads, or gotcha mechanics, vicious gambling, loot boxes. You got to have a way to make up for a game that size, or you have to have a cheaper studio. There's so many different ways we could mitigate these issues, and I don't know what Sony's going to do. I have no clue what they're going to do, but they're thinking about it at least, right? They're thinking like, hey, we bought this fucking thing. We don't want to just let it die. We don't want to let it wither away. The Destiny IP, right? Hopefully they're cooking up something. I can't wait to get the announcement, dude. Every showcase from here on, I'm watching the showcase just hoping and praying we get something Destiny related. Maybe it's Copium. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. All right, good stuff, good stuff. We got more news stories to cover, chat. We are locked in. I got to go to the bathroom real quick. I'm going to throw some bao buns in the microwave. Count your points. If you don't know, we are giving away this replica when we hit our sub goal. If we hit our sub goal, that is. If you have a Prime sub, hey, I'm just saying. Prime sub, baby. Jeffrey Bezos would be proud of you. I'll be right back. All right, beautiful people, we're back. We are so back, my dudes. You know what's crazy is that the Destiny 2 team said that the Tuesday update was going to be delayed, but the Destiny, they haven't updated when it's coming out still. Like, what the hell? Dude, this is crazy. This is it. They said, yeah, it's delayed, and then that's it. The next update, the next hotfix is it, dude. That's it. There's nothing after that. They're gonna drop the hotfix, and they're gonna drop a twid, and that's fucking good night. They are dropping no comms right now, and I don't blame them. There's no one there left to do the damn job, right? What's good, my zombie inside? This is about to be the most depressing Bungie day of all time. That's for sure. This is going to be a crippling depression Bungie day. Let's see what other news stories we got cooking up here. Someone said GTA 6 made $1 billion within an hour of pre-orders opening. Who is saying this stuff? Who is saying this stuff? They generated $1 billion in 1 hour, huh? That's crazy. A researcher and professor caused a significant shift in Take-Two stock. Their stock prices went up a lot, huh? Let's go. I actually bought some Take-Two stock. So, we are so back, my dudes. These bao buns are from you, GTA. Take-Two paid for these bao buns. They made $1 billion in 1 hour. Oh no, they're roasting them. They're roasting them, chat. They're roasting them.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
Oh no. That's brutal.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
PlayStation.
This is how you don't. That's funny. That's too funny. No more physical discs, chat. What is this? Guardians make their own games? a project which I think will pay homage to the legacy of Destiny 2 and those who made it. Guardians Make Their Own Games is for now a community in which adult members of the Destiny and Marathon's invited? Oh, hell no. I'm out. Marathon communities can come together to learn, teach skills, and use corners of the game development. The idea is to promote collaboration, growth, and curiosity as we do our best to preserve the inspiration we all carry. It is a passion project. I have no money. Interesting. We will make our own game. We've resorted to literally making our own game, chat. Bungie has truly driven the Guardians insane. All right. How old are gamers? We're going to find out today. The average age of players, Counter-Strike 2, 24 years old. The Zoomers playing Counter-Strike. Apex Legends, 23 years old. This is the average age of the Apex players. Interesting. Candy Crush? Damn, the geezers. 38 years old? Oh my gosh. FIFA? 27 years old. RuneScape, 28 years old. Valorant, 22 years old. Oh my gosh. You have to be pretty young to play Valorant. These sweaty shooter games, right? Destiny 2, 30 years old. The Boomer Shooter. Destiny 2, 30 years old. How old are you? You playing Destiny 2? Animal Crossings, New Horizons, 29 years old. 29 years old to play Animal Crossings. Pretty crazy stuff. That's partly why Bungie said that their audience aged out. By the way, this was a report that happened a few years ago where they said their audience got too old. You're too old. They wanted to seek a younger audience. I think that's what they were going for with Marathon. Obviously, it didn't land very well because instead of having a younger audience, they just have absolutely no audience. But that was the goal, right? Like they were trying to have a younger audience because we aged out a little bit. We got too old. It would seem, at least. I don't know. Is it a problem that we're old? Like we were still playing. We're still paying, you know? Us old geezers need to have a home. Okay, we need to have a retirement home. Did you ever see that trend on TikTok? There was a TikTok trend that Destiny 2 is the retirement home for players. The retirement home. That's what they called us. That's funny. And now it's shut down. All right. Now it's shut down. It was assisted living for Edge of Fate, and now they shut it down. They left us all to die. RIP Destiny 2. Bring my retirement home back, dude. Bring it back. Maybe don't sunset the Red War. Yeah, exactly. I'm a Red War veteran. And they disrespected me like that. That's insane. I want to see if the game is playable or if it's stuttering again. I was trying to play yesterday. I think I have to clear the cache or something. I don't know, dudes. I don't know if I'm going to do all that. But if they didn't implement a hotfix, then I guess it's probably just still scuffed then, right? I swear it wasn't doing that before Iron Banner, though. Maybe I didn't play enough Crucible to experience it. I have no clue. But my favorite game is dying, dude. It's dwindling away. Imagine if they leave the game in a state where it's just constantly stuttering for a lot of people. That would be... Oh, that would be terrible. Can I hop in? I'm just going to play Iron Banner solo. I don't know how many games I'm going to play, so I'm probably just going solo for now. But if you want to, you can queue in at the same time right now to control, and you probably match me. You could be on my team. You could be against me. It's Russian roulette. Right? I won't take it easy on you, though, okay? If I see you out there, you're getting bagged, right? 100%. Bag and drag. Here we go, here we go. Yeah, it's queuing now. Yeah, hopefully you guys can queue in. Queue up, stream snipe me. Yes, go for it. I am okay with this. I'm okay with this because that might be the only way we actually get a game in the future. It's crazy. It's July 1st now, chat. Does that mean the year is halfway over? Is that how that works? July, August, September, October, November? Yeah. We are 50% of the way through 2026. 50%. Did you accomplish your 2026 goals? Did you lock in? A family member of mine, I saw them on Facebook, and they've always been a chubby guy. Respect them, love them, but they've always been a chubby guy. And I see that they see a picture of them, they're super skinny. I'm like, hey. I message them like, you're looking good. And they're like, yeah, I took a GLP-1. Apparently everyone's doing this. Apparently everyone that's ever been chubby is like, I am taking Ozempic now. And everyone's just skinny now. Like we cured the obesity crisis in America overnight. We just had to invent a freaking whatever the hell that is. Oh, it is stuttering so bad. Oh my God. I'm going to play it anyways though. Fuck it. That arc jolt killed me. I wonder how it works. Yeah, how does that work? It's good to know that if I get old and I get a little bit too chubby, I just get a GLP-1, I guess? Like, is that just the new norm? Is this just like well established and normal at this point? I need to do whatever it takes to make my game playable because this is not it. I cannot play like this. This is insanity. I'm waiting like 5 years to see the side effects. Yeah, I'm wondering what the side effects will be. Because I don't want people to start getting like cross-eyed or start, you know, growing a second fucking, a third hand, you know? Like I'm not really trying to grow a third hand because I took a GLP-1. What if it makes your peen small? I mean, it's a small price to pay to be skinny. Yeah. What I think's crazy is because there's been some people in my life that I've met that have had like some serious weight problems. And like, let's be real, like they be eating the motherfucking Arby's every day, you know, like they're not eating salads and drinking water regularly, but that aside, they just have weight problems, you know? And, oh, I'm so dead. I'm out of here, dude. They literally can't get me. Hang on. Stop chasing me. Ooh. And so anyways, they could literally lose the weight now. And I'm like, do you tell your friends though? Are you like, hey, Samantha, you know what I'm saying? You could do this. You know, do you tell them that? It's got to be an awkward conversation. Like, listen here, I know you have 3 chins, but if you put this thing in your freaking butt, I guess you'll, like, be skinny again somehow? I don't know. How does that work, even? What happens? I don't know. Maybe people are just okay with being a little bit chunky, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating on it by any means. Oh my god, I just got a triple kill. What the hell? That's kind of crazy. Has anyone in chat taken a GLP-1? Does anyone know what this is? How does this work? I'm gonna do some research later today. It's pretty fascinating stuff, huh? We invented the solution to being overweight. Oh, I'm so dead. Unbelievably dead. Our new common order has been appointed to me. Oh, you're cooking, bud. Look at that, guys. Oh my god, that Vex is tearing me apart. Please get that guy, thank you. No way, I didn't get that kill. That's crazy. Yob over here. Oh, that other guy shot me, dang it. Appetite suppression, huh? Is that really all it is? You stick this thing in your body and then suddenly you just have no appetite? If they suppress your appetite, then you just stop eating so much? It's crazy that we have to take things to suppress our appetite instead of, like, I guess just learning self-control, you know? And hey, I'm speaking, you know, as someone that is a little bit chubby myself, so I'm not acting like I don't have a six-pack over here, let's just say. Instead of self-control, we're like, you know what? Stick this thing in you, and then you just won't even be hungry anymore. That's crazy. Can they make a GLP-1 for my Destiny depression? Like, I stick a thing in me, and then suddenly I'm not sad about Destiny being dead anymore? Is that an option? Yeah, we're selling new Destiny depression pills. Use discount code LUCKY10P. Save 20% off your next purchase. 25% if you order in the next 10 minutes. What the hell is... Bruh. Damn, they triple capped us, huh? My game's stuttering. I think it's also affecting my the connectivity, because I'm landing shots that are, there's no way. Like, my aim is bad, but it's not that bad. There's some shots there that were like stuttery shots, I swear. I'm blaming it on the stutter. If it wasn't for the stutter, I would have dropped a Wii ran by now. That's for sure. Like, what was that? That first shot didn't land? Oh my god. Hey. Oh, rip. The lag is atrocious. Yeah, it's terrible. It's bad. We gotta, like, clear my cache. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna write this down. Clear cache. Cache. GG's, my dudes. GG's. You played great. For me, it fixed itself today. When you cleared your cache, is that what fixed it, or what happened? Did it just clear up? What did you do? The ray gun, was there anything specific? Oh, it just randomly cleared? Oh. Well, that's great. Thanks. Yeah, great. Ray gun, good. Oh, yeah, don't worry. It just randomly, everything started working for me. Everything in my life just goes perfect. Yeah, thanks, ray gun. Great. Unbelievable. Crazy. I'm going to figure out how to clear this cache pretty soon here. RNG cache? Yeah, exactly. The RNG. What other games? I was just going to play that Impulse game. All right. I'm going to call it there for tonight, chat. I'm going to cook up a bunch of videos. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. And both YouTube channels. And I'll be back tomorrow. What's today? Tomorrow might be the TWID and the last update. We'll see. If they don't announce the TWID, they have to announce another delay to the TWID. Rack up those points. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you hanging out. Later. See you later, Sully. See you later. See you back here tomorrow. Make sure you're following with notifications on. Have a good night, everyone. Peace.